Happy Sunday and hello from the broadcast booth at Ford Field in downtown Detroit as the Panthers return home to welcome the UFL's best team by record through 5 weeks, the DC Defenders, as they visit Ford Field for the first time in franchise history. Hello everybody, Zach Linfield joined by Brandon Huggard this afternoon as we get you ready for the Panthers and the Defenders. So great to be back with you.
Yeah, happy to be here. It's been an up and down season for Michigan so far, and coming back home, I want to see this team put 4 quarters of consistent complementary football together. I think there's more than enough talent on the roster for a good run this year. It's just about translating that into success on the field for a full game.
Second all-time meeting between these two franchises. The Panthers beat the Defenders in Week 7 of last year at Audi Field in the district by a 22-9 final. Michigan held DC to a season low in points as Jake Bates went 3 for 3 over the course of the victory. After a 4-6 mark in 2024 missing the playoffs, interim head coach Shannon Harris has positioned the Defenders for a playoff spot halfway through this season. Michigan, on the other hand, 3-2 after a loss to St. Louis last weekend. Excellent performance from Bryce Perkins, aiming for another here today.
Yeah, over the course of our time covering this team the last 2 years or so, it feels like quarterback's never been something that Michigan has nailed down in sort of a set-and-forget fashion. But Perkins has really solidified his spot on the roster as a signal caller, and let's see if the team can respond well to that.
Coming up on the Panther pregame show, we'll lay out the expected starters for Michigan and check the pregame injury report. A chat from the locker room with running back Toa Taua. We'll get to Brandon's keys of the game, and finally, a pregame conversation with the head coach himself, Mike Nolan. Working our way towards kickoff here in Week 6, 12:04, the scheduled kick time here in the Motor City. It's the Michigan Panthers and the DC Defenders from downtown Detroit on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. We're about 26 minutes out from Panthers and Defenders here in week 6 of the UFL, creeping up towards kickoff. 3-2 at the halfway point for Michigan, lost at St. Louis last Saturday. Second all-time matchup with DC on tap here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the expected starters for Michigan. Offensively, Marcel Belfait, the offensive coordinator. A decision's been made by Mike Nolan and Marcel Belfait to slim it down from 2 quarterbacks to 1. So now Bryce Perkins, Brandon, playing the role of full-time quarterback for all 4 quarters.
Yeah, and following this team over the course of the season, it was a decision that I think a lot of people, including ourselves, expected. Perkins obviously played incredibly well. Atling struggling a little bit more this year, so for the sake of the team, I think it's smart. Obviously, still sitting there in reserve.
We'll ask head coach Mike Nolan about that later in his pregame conversation leading up to kickoff here between the Panthers and the Defenders. Nate McCrary still leads the running back room, but Toa Taua, who we'll also talk to here in the pregame, getting quite a few carries as well. 2 scores last weekend.
Yeah, the best offensive backfields are always done by committee, and so having depth at running back, a position of such importance, can't hurt the team at all, and Toa Taua's shown flashes.
So Yossi Mariner, Malik Turner, and Jalen Moore will start today, headlining the receiver room, with Samson Nakua suspended for 1 game after an interaction with a fan in St. Louis following the loss last weekend.
Yeah, not a great look for the player, for the league. Kind of an ugly situation all around, and certainly hurting his chances of playing on Sundays this fall. An unfortunate one for the team losing such a key player, and also just not really representative of Samson as a person. We've met him a few times now.
Played a good game last weekend too. Had a couple of catches, making an impact through the air. No changes across the offensive line from left to right. Ryan Nelson, Jake Burton, Noah Johnson, Cole Cabral, and Chima Korafor. And the lineman that the Panthers traded for earlier this year when they sent Marcus Sims to Houston, Cam Carter, is active for the first time during 2025. Tight end Gunnar Oaks, Jalen Weidermeyer is active for the first time here at home. Cole Hicatini to play a role at tight end as well. For Colin Bauer's defense, Rondell Carter and Kenny Willikis, they've manned the edges pretty well since Breland Speaks went down in week 1.
Yeah, not anything really matching that defensive line performance that we saw out of this team in week 1, but that's not to say it's been a weak link. This defense has operated at a very high level for much of the early season, especially given some of the situations they've been put in. It's been dicey on the other side of the ball, so Coach Bauer's manned a great unit and really kept this team in a lot of games.
Walter Palmore and Garrett Marino plug up the holes in the middle. Noah Dawkins and the league's leading tackler, who would have thought, Frank Ginda. They are the linebackers, and what a season again it's been for Ginda, who was a 2023 Defensive Player of the Year. It doesn't look like he skipped a beat 2 years later.
No, I can't believe he's still playing in the UFL, said with all respect to the league, of course, but he's an absolute heat-seeking missile in the heart of that defense.
Starting defensive backs include Kendrick Whitehead Jr., Arnold Tarpley, Kai Nakua, and the corners are Kenai Lovely and DJ Miller. No Bryce Tornaded today. Obviously a fan favorite of yours.
Yeah, love the way he plays the game. Unfortunately, a late scratch, so we'll see how the defensive backfield reacts to that.
Good time to check the availability report and players not on the active roster. So with Bryce Tornaded now inactive, that allows Jaden Sheridan, running back, to be active as running back number 3 for Michigan. Also on offense, Victor Kern, Brian Dooley across the offensive line, and Fazio McClurge, wide receiver, are unavailable. Defensively, James Neal, linebacker, and Levi Bell, defensive tackle. That's the big loss here on the availability report for Michigan, plugging up the middle where DC's offense is the most explosive so far in the league in 2025.
Yeah, losing that talent, especially on the interior. Probably going to have an extra hat on Marino now in that defensive front. Tough to see, and we're going to see how Coach Bauer can kind of game plan around that.
Now on the injured list is punter Seth Vernon. With the place kicker still BT Potter, no attempts last week. But with Vernon now on the injured list, Simon Laria takes over as the team's punter. You and I watched a little bit of film on him preseason when it looked like he was going to be the punter for this team, but then Seth got the opportunity and he punted very well, and then this injury popped up. But Laria is just a one-step, big-legged punter that can really flip the field if Michigan has to, if they get backed up.
Yeah, and it's going to be important focusing on the operation as well. A lot of these times the special teams units, especially at this point in the season, you've kind of gelled. Everybody's familiar with how everybody else moves. The cadence is set.
Right.
Going to be interesting to see how this punt team reacts to the late shift.
And talking about shift, Peter Bowden is the team's new long snapper, with Jordan Ober no longer on the team due to injury. Longtime Michigan Panther. Coming up, we hear the pregame thoughts of running back Toa Taua and his impact the last few weeks inside the Panther offense. That's next on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. Inside the Panther locker room, Panthers pregame with running back Toa Taua. Toa last week, 2 scores on the ground. It really seems like now you found your footing in the run game after a couple of weeks where it seemed like Nate McCrary and Matthew Colburn had their opportunity. Now it's yours, and it really seems like you're finding your stretch out there.
Yeah, man, just trying to go out every day, and, it's the way we prepare, the way we practice. The linemen are just doing a fantastic job up front. You can put anybody back there and they're going to do exactly what, I'm doing. But, all credit to the line and, Marcel's scheming up. Bryce, he makes it a lot easier when, he's a threat on his feet. So it takes a lot of pressure off me.
Seems like there's been a lot of confidence instilled within you from offensive coordinator Marcel Belfay. It's been a long journey for you in and out here at Michigan. What's different this time around?
Definitely a lot more trust. And that didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of, like I said, preparation for that to come around. And, you know, we're still trying to prove every single day, every time we go out there, every time we get an opportunity to touch the field. We're just, you know, trying to make the best of it and, you know, continue to gain his trust every single game.
And I'll tell you what, too, it seems like the receivers in this offense, they have a talent for blocking downfield. When it's a collective team effort on the offense to get to that second and eventually third level, it just got to feel so much easier for you to get across that line of scrimmage and bounce into the secondary.
Oh yeah, man, they're wide receivers out there. They're very dominant on you know, both ends of the game, whether it's running or, you know, passing. They're right where they're supposed to be all the time. You know, there's a lot of credit that goes up to those guys, man.
Tell you what, too, it's like magician's work when you're working with Bryce Perkins and the way he's able to put that football inside your gut area and then eventually pull it out, and then you leave us wondering who exactly actually has the football. So walk us through what it's like to be in an RPO or a long read with quarterback Bryce Perkins.
Yeah, man, it's just being with the RPO with Bryce. You know, it's a lot of trust. You know, and I trust that guy 100%. He's one of the best quarterbacks I ever got to work with, and you know, him being so dominant on his feet, you know, makes it a lot easier for me. You know, if you're gonna put it in there, do it, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I always trust whatever reads he sees. So you know, he's a great player, man. I love playing with him.
Joe, thank you. Good luck today, man.
Appreciate you.
About 12 minutes separating now and kickoff between the Panthers and the Defenders here at Ford Field. And it's just about time for Brandon Huggard's keys to the game. All right, Brandon. DC owns the league's best record at 4-1 halfway through the year. Tough assignment here today.
Yeah, well, you got to make your home stadium a fortress to play in. You know, defend where you're from, and I think that starts with protecting Coach Power's defense. You know, this team can play some hard-nosed, buckle-down defense, even in some short field situations, as we've seen. It'll really come down to the offense minimizing turnovers and doing their share in terms of winning the field position battle that can tip this game in Michigan's favor.
When you list down a couple of MVP candidates, Bryce Perkins certainly pops up. Manny Wilkins down in St. Louis does as well. But for DC, they've got a quarterback that's pretty darn good themselves. Jordan Ta'amu, one-time star at Ole Miss. He is their signal caller, and he is their leader. His completion percentage, surprisingly, is under 50%, yet he leads the league in nearly every single passing category. It takes a lot to put that guy in a box.
Yeah, and even when you slow him down and you keep him from really establishing rhythm, he can still just flip the game on its head with a single play. He's a special player, and I think the entire league is really just waiting for him to take that step this season up the completion percentage, because if you look at it from an EPA perspective or really any sort of advanced analytics, you're going to know that he's maybe the best offensive catalyst that we have in the league right now. And so knowing that there's still a lot of upward mobility for him is a scary prospect.
Kind of think Adrian Martinez from last year when he was the captain of Birmingham. Panthers take the field here at Ford Field. The Panthers led by Bryce Perkins, and you know, I'm excited to see what 4 quarters worth of Bryce Perkins will be here at Ford Field.
Yep, there's the solidified nature of, you know, the helm of this offense. Perks leading the ship. We're going to have the offense rally behind him.
And I'll tell you what, Mike Nolan's thoughts will give us exactly what we want to hear before we kick off here. Panthers and Defenders, about 10 minutes before these two kick it off. It's the league's best record at 4-1, and the Panthers tied for first place in the USFL division with Birmingham at 3-2. Coach Nolan is on the backside of this timeout on your home for Michigan Panthers football. Inside the Panthers locker room with the head coach himself, Mike Nolan. Coach, big decision this week. You slimmed it down really to one mainstay and quarterback in Bryce Perkins. What all factored into the decision to make Bryce that main guy in the quarterback room?
Well, to be perfectly blunt, you know, obviously we felt that Bryce kind of played himself into the starting role, and Danny kind of played himself out of it. That's really what happened, because it's strictly on how they performed in the games, and that's what we felt happened.
And it's weird to think that for CLC Mariner now having 2 games of over 100 yards a season that he hasn't found the end zone yet. It's really hard to believe. But what makes him such a reliable target for you guys through the air?
Well, I think he's accountable to the quarterback. That's number one, which is really key, because when a quarterback feels comfortable with somebody, knowing that they're going to be where they're supposed to be, you know, they'll go to that player. As well as COC's a very competitive individual. He does a very good job. He's not just talented, but he's very competitive, and that helps him as well. So those 2 things, I think, are the reason he's getting the ball more often.
We also talked to Toa earlier in the pregame show, and he's been incredible since coming back, and he's become a reliable target on the ground for you guys. Where is this confidence, do you think, for him coming from?
Well, I think he's naturally confident. I know he is. You know, he's been a good player most of his life. Even as a young kid in high school, he was a good player, and probably bigger than anybody else at the time. But you know, he's done a great job. He's a very accountable guy with the ball in his hand. You know, he's knock on wood. He secures the ball, but he also runs extremely hard, and he makes the first guy move almost all the time. So that's, you know, he's a good 10, 20, 30-yard guy. After that, he hadn't broken out in the open yet. We'll see what he can do, but or hopefully, it would be nice to see. But otherwise, he's, like I said, he's a very reliable, accountable guy.
Explosive offense on the other side. They like to chuck it around. They're tough up front, capable in the running game. What's an efficient defensive recipe to stop Jordan Ta'amu and company?
Well, you just mentioned Jordan is doing an outstanding job. He's having a great year so far. He's done an excellent job. He's been instrumental in all their victories, and he stands in their pocket very confident. You know, he's got a lot of experience playing. He's played quite a while. He's quite a tough chore for us today. He'll be tough to defend, but we've got a good unit on the defensive side. We got to do a better job of not giving up explosive plays like we did last week. We gave up a couple big passes that cost us, but he's somebody that's going to challenge us in that regard often enough.
Third phase of the game, special teams. Simon Laria now takes over as the punter. You bring him back in, and it seemed like he could have been the guy in the preseason, but now he's back, and you surely have confidence in his ability to boot it down the other end.
Yeah, without question. He's just a one-step punter, too, so he gets it off fast. But he's good. I'm glad he was out there for us to get, because it was unfortunate that Seth got injured. Don't know where that stands going forward, but if it doesn't, we're very confident that Simon could do a very good job.
Final one for you, Coach. Give us your key for a win here today.
Key for the win, we need to play more within ourselves and not to have those unforced penalties. And outside of that, just compete and do what we're coached to do. Basically, that's a good opponent we're against. So there's not room for much error by us.
Coach, thank you. Go get him today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's the head coach, Mike Nolan. Coming up next, it's kickoff between the Panthers and the Defenders on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. Well, here we go, week 6 in the United Football League. First visit to Ford Field for the DC Defenders. Work to do in a tie for first place in the USFL division. Solid opportunity on a national stage for Mike Nolan's crew today. With Brandon Huggard co-piloting, Zach Linfield here ready for liftoff in week 6. So glad everybody's aboard. Let's get it started. Panthers and Defenders, just their second all-time meeting. Closing in on kickoff here at Ford Field. Brandon, what are you looking forward to most today? Week 6 opportunity to jump the Stallions.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to the fact that 4-2, the joint best record in the league, looks a whole lot better than 500. So we're still early in the year, but this is a real tone-setting game. Good opponent at home. Let's see what they can get done today.
Stars for the Defenders include their quarterback, Jordan Ta'amu, their running back, Deion Jackson, has had a couple good weeks strung together in a row. Jaden Mickens, their receiver, and Chris Rowland, Cornell Powell as well. Certainly a challenge for the Michigan defense as they face off against the league's top-rated offense in a day where Bryce Perkins will captain the ship himself at quarterback for the Panthers. Truly an exciting time to watch football here today in Detroit. Panthers have it lined up to kick it away at the right side of the field. At the 40-yard line, Panthers are lined up in their burgundy tops, gold bottoms, with the gold helmet with the Panther on the left and right sides. The Defenders in their icy white helmet, their icy white top, and the cherry red bottoms, receiving down to our right with BT Potter teeing it up at the 30-yard line on the left side of the field. Chris Rowland, Jaden Mickens are deep to return. There's the run up in the swing of the right leg by BT Potter, and it lands in the arms of Rowland, running it out straight ahead. Now veers off to the right across the 30 and is lassoed down at about the 34-yard line. That's where the Defenders will embark, and that will bring Jordan Ta'amu and the Defenders offense onto the field for the first time to face off against Colin Bauer's stout defense.
Not bad coverage on the kickoff there. I know it was the initial play of the game, but special teams been a point of emphasis for Michigan really after such a disastrous start to the year.
So here come the Defenders. Jordan Ta'amu, their quarterback, stands in the shotgun. Running back off to his left is Jackson. Two receivers alongside left, one to the short side right. 1st and 10 off the 34, plays first snap. Just underway here from Ford Field. Jackson goes left to right in the formation with Jordan Ta'amu. Snap Ta'amu, give middle to Deion Jackson. He's brought down after a short gain. Tackle made by Rondell Carter off the edge for the Panthers. Gain of about 3, 2nd down and 7 from the 37-yard line.
Good job by the Panthers defensive front, standing up when it needs to.
Straight to the line of scrimmage go the Defenders. 3 to the left. Jackson to the left hip of Jordan Ta'amu's shotgun on 2nd down and 7 off the 37. Snap Ta'amu, read option, throws it left. First down yards for Chris Rowland as he bounces out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. And guess who made the tackle? Frank Ginda over there to push him out.
Yeah, just a numbers game. Loading up the left side of the field, then trying to go the RPO across the formation, throwing back in against the grain. Just tough to get the numbers out there to defend it.
Center Michael Maietti hovers over the football for a 1st down and 10 snap off the 48-yard line. Defenders still on their own side of the field. Rowland motions towards the sideline, far side. Snap to Amu, dumps off a screen pass to Jackson across midfield. Gets down to the 48-yard line with the penalty flag flying out from the far side. We'll have to wait on the call from our officials, and our referee today is Jeff Heiser.
That's going to be a hold. I didn't see quite who it was.
Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
Out of James Madison, 25-year-old Liam Fornadell. The guilty party sending the Defenders back for a 1st down and 20 from their own 38-yard line left hash mark.
Yeah, and that really kills the drive. It's unfortunate. They got the big fella out there in space trying to block a linebacker or a DB, and he just hooked him a little bit right at the point of the catch. So
you'd think that'd be a power play for that lineman in open field, but got around him, penalty enforced. 1st down and 20 from the 38-yard line. Ta'amu shotgun, takes the snap, fakes the give, clean pocket, loads up, down the right sideline, got a receiver out there, but he overshot Braylon Sanders. Kai Nakua, the safety, got passed off in coverage there, and it brings up a 2nd down and 20. Good work by Kai, brother Samson Nakua, on the shelf with a 1-game suspension today.
Yeah, good job by Kai, picking it up in the deep zone there, keeping in phase, tracking the near hip of the receiver. Not a bad throw by Tamu, just needed to be a window perfect.
Completion percentage under 50% for Jordan Ta'amu here this season in an MVP campaign. Snap to Ta'amu from the 38-yard line on 2nd and 20. Swings it out right, Deion Jackson. Near the sideline, he's brought down just before. Frank Ginda made the tackle up at about the 44-yard line, drawing up, let's call it a 3rd down and 14 for DC.
Yeah, and you got to get off the field here if you're Coach Bauer and the Michigan defense. 3rd and long, setting yourself up for a lot of field in front of you to get a good scripted drive out of the offense. Get your offense on the field, keep the 0 on the board, set the tone early.
Chorus of intimidating cheers from the Michigan Panther fans here at Ford Field for a 3rd and 14 from the 44-yard line. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Snap to Amu, fakes to give. Clean pocket, spins it over the middle. It is caught for a 1st down. Good ball towards Javen Antonio for a 1st down pickup of 17 on 3rd and 14.
Yeah, and as much as it was a good throw, that's really on the defensive front. If you give a quarterback like Tamu that much time to work, even a 3rd and long, it's just tough to defend that much space.
Adonis Alexander was tracing Antonio in coverage but couldn't catch up in time. Gives DC a 1st down at the Panther 39-yard line. Trips off to the right to Amu shotgun. Jackson off to his left. Sends Roland in motion right to left. Ta'amu has a snap. He flips it on an end around left side. Roland bounces off a defender, spins for a 1st down. A tornadic action down to the 27-yard line. And Roland has 12 yards and a DC 1st.
Yeah, you look at that, a third and 14. Michigan even scrapes in prediction of the jet sweep, still just can't make the play. So momentum building early here for DC.
Quick moving, fast, accelerating offense for DC. 1st down and 10 from the Panther 27-yard line. Snap to Amu, chest high. He'll give it right to Jackson, creeping his way through the Panther defense and down to the 22-yard line. 5 yards on 1st down to make it 2nd down and 5. Rondo Carter in there on the stop. Ron Stone Jr. as well.
And it's plays like that that'll really win you a game. 5 yards, 4.5 yards on 1st down, setting yourself up, keeping you on pace over the course of a drive.
So 2nd and 5. Ta'amu scans the Michigan defense, walks up to his center, Maietti, and is now set up on 2nd and 5 from the 22. Snap to Amu, back, guns at middle. That has caught Mickens inside the 15. Got away from 1. Not going to get away from Frank Ginda. 1st down DC to the Michigan 14-yard line at 10:30 1st quarter without a score.
Is that 4 tackles on the 1st drive for Frank Ginda?
He's an animal, isn't he?
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Frank Ginda, the league's leading tackler. He has 24 solo tackles and 42 overall coming in. 1st down defenders from the Michigan 14-yard line. Efficient 1st drive here for DC and Jordan Ta'amu. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Snap to Jordan, guns it right, incomplete off the hand of Michigan defensive back DJ Miller. Braylon Sanders the intended target, but man, he threw that way behind the receiver, and DJ Miller was just a step behind.
Yeah, not what you're gonna see a lot of from Ta'amu. Again, just missed him on the slant there, and DJ Miller's thinking, man, if I can come away with that one, that's 90 yards of green grass in front of me.
8 plays, 62 yards thus far in just under 5 minutes on the 1st possession for DC. 2nd down and 10, Michigan 14-yard line. Chest high snap to Amu, gives middle to Deion Jackson down to the 10-yard line where he is wrestled down. Walter Palmore got in there on the stop, brings up a 3rd down and 6 for DC from the 10-yard line.
Well, it's another situation for this Michigan defense to minimize the danger, force a field goal, a 10th, 3rd, and it's not a gimme from inside the 15.
DC on 3rd down this year, number 1 in the UFL conversion rate at 47. They've converted a 3rd and 14 so far on this drive. 3rd and 6 from the 10-yard line, under 9 minutes, 1st quarter, no score. Snap to Amu, guns it out to the right side for a 1st down to Braylon Sanders inside the 5-yard line. The officials, though, Brandon, they march in and mark him about a yard shy. At least it looked like he had the 1st down.
Maybe it was our angle, but he looked like he was there by a comfortable margin.
So 3 receivers come out, 3 extra linemen come in. Now you're thinking pass, right?
Everybody in the stadium has an idea of what's going to happen. Not a bad time to pull out the play action, but we'll see what they go with.
Full house formation, 4th and 1 from the 5-yard line. Ta'amu with the pistol, Deion Jackson behind him. Penalty flag is out as some Panthers and defenders come together and jaw back and forth.
Offense.
That drives head coaches insane.
I mean, we're here in the Michigan Panthers booth, and it drives me insane. You can't have that on 4th and 1. That could be a 6-point swing.
So head coach Shannon Harris will reel his group back into the near sideline. So now from the 10, it's a 27-yard drive for place kicker Matt McCrane, who was simply incredible in the pregame. Trey Berry to snap it. Paxton Brooks puts it down. The kick is blocked. Penalty flag comes out. Panthers run it back the other direction, but the play whistled dead. DJ Miller got in there to block it, but now a penalty flag on the field.
Early. I think he got the jump.
And DC might get another crack at it on offense. Big call here from Jeff Heiser.
Yeah, they're talking about this one.
DC points towards Michigan. All indications point towards this one going against the Panthers in a scoreless start to this ball game. 8:08 first quarter. Panthers have just blocked a Matt McCrane field goal after a delay of game, sending him to 4th and 6.
Correct. There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the defense. Offside, defense, that penalty's declined. After the play, personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, defense, number 44. That will be enforced. Automatic first down.
That's Garrett Marino. Call for the personal foul, and that will give DC not only another opportunity at the end zone, but a first down.
Yeah, talk about
Just
the flip-flopping nature of this drive from a delay of game.
We will enforce both fouls. We will enforce the defensive offside first, followed by the wide ball, followed by the dead ball.
Seems like Jeff Heiser's got another voice talking to him.
Yeah, definitely relaying the information as he gets it. Love to hear from Dean Blandino on this one.
So the sticks on the sideline still read 4th and a yard. Still going to be 4th down here?
No, dead ball personal foul should be 1st and goal. How in the world?
That's
still
exactly
4th
what
down?
Shannon Harris is pleading from the sideline. He's out there saying, what in the world's going on? I feel like you and I have been around football enough to think that that would be a first down.
You hear personal foul, it doesn't matter how far away you are, it's an automatic first down. But
seems as if Coach Harris has his explanation, and it's not one that he likes. So the Beef Brigade is back in there for DC. 4th and a yard from the 5-yard line. They need the 4. Everybody packed in tight. Ta'amu in the shotgun gives to Jackson up the middle. He got sniffed out, pushes forward, but right at the 5-yard line. That was the line of scrimmage, and it looked like Garrett Marino stuffed him up and pushed him away, and the Panthers have turned over the defenders.
well, from a personal foul that didn't seem to be enforced in the slightest to making a big play on 4th and short. That's exactly what Coach Bauer's defense has done for this team time over and time over this year. Michigan taking over deep within their own territory, but more importantly, turning DC away at the doorstep.
And I feel like it's one of the more niche things to say, but in football, Brandon, the low man wins. And Michigan was by far the lower men on that play right there.
Yeah, you can see it all along the defensive front. Just that initial push was so important in those situations. Michigan won categorically up front on that play, owning the change.
We've got a break here from Ford Field in downtown Detroit. The Panthers have turned away the defenders on a trip to the red zone. Bryce Perkins and company up next on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. After today, just one more opportunity to join the hunt this season at Ford Field. Tickets for May 31st against Marcus Sims and the Houston Roughnecks are still available for the home finale. Visit the UFL.com/Michigan-tickets. Panthers and defenders scoreless at 7:59 first quarter, and huge turn of events.
Yeah, what was a great first drive for DC falls apart right before they hit pay dirt. An absolute mixer between the field goal, the delay of game, the block that never was, the personal foul that never was, and then the 4th and short that sees Michigan take over.
It all leads to Bryce Perkins and the Michigan offense taking over from their own 5-yard line, 1st and 10, hash mark right side. Snap to Perkins, gives left, Toa Taua into the secondary and up to the 14-yard line. A burst from Toa grants the Panthers 9 yards, a 2nd down and 1.
2nd and uber short. I want to see the playbook opened up here. I want to see a shot.
Panthers accelerate, 2nd down, half a yard snap. Perkins holds it out, hands it off. Taua is sniffed out and sent to the turf. Defensive back Deontay Anderson, the first one in there. Bringing up a 3rd and a more full yard this time, 3rd and 1.
Yeah, losing a little bit there on 2nd and short. Still got most of the playbook open to you, of course. 3rd and short within, we'll call it right at the 14. Shift change for seems both trenches here.
Out of the huddle to the line come the Panthers. 7:10 first quarter, no score. 3rd and a long yard from the 14-yard line. Pistol set for the Panthers. Snap chest high to Perkins, holds it out, gives the towel right up the middle. He got the first down, gained about 3. And a big surge from the interior offensive line for Michigan gives him a first down to the 16-yard line.
Yeah, great push by that offensive line. Just head down. Wasn't even looking for a hole, really. Just find any sort of lane you can and advance the ball 1 yard. Got the job done.
Certainly leaning on Toa Taua more the last 2 weeks. 2 rushing scores in the loss to St. Louis last weekend. Receiver at the top of the field, Ziossi Mariner. 1st down and 10, Panthers from the 16. Snap to Perkins, gives the Taua up the middle to the 22-yard line before he's brought down by his shoelace. Joe Wallace was in there. Niles Scott was in there as well for DC. Brings up about a 2nd and 4 for Michigan.
Good full head of steam. That's 4 straight carries for Taua to start the game.
First substitution for Michigan as Nate McCrary checks in as the running back. Sidecar right to Bryce Perkins, 2nd down and 4 from the 22-yard line. No score, 6 minutes to play first quarter. 5-man front for DC, snap to Perkins, RPO, throws it right side. It is brought in by Turner, spins out of a tackle up to the 38-yard line. There's the yak for Michigan, and they pick up another first down to the 38-yard line, brought down by defensive back Bryce Thompson.
Well, great balance and body control from Malik Turner. Took a shot, found himself at kind of a weird angle, still spun himself out and managed to get forward and move the sticks.
Seems like anytime Bryce Perkins runs that RPO, it's more of like a shot put toss towards his receiver. 5:20 first quarter, first down Michigan, their own 38-yard line, hash mark right. Snap Perkins, he's back, pocket collapses, throws it left, found Turner again, up at midfield for a first down. Had picked up 13 yards, they'll give him the DC 49, brought down by Thompson, but another first down, and Bryce Perkins buzzing to start this one.
Yeah, starting to heat up this offense. Momentum building, and it's exactly what this Michigan team needed. Flipping the field, independent of any scores. At least they're not going to be backed up for 2 straight drives on defense.
Now over to the left hash, inside defender territory on their first drive. From the 49-yard line, a first down and 10. Turner motions, now doubles back to the left slot. Snap to Perkins, holds it out, fakes the give, throws right sideline, wide open. No one was close to Jalen Moore. His 7th grab of the season goes to the 26-yard line and a Panther first down.
Yeah, caught DC with their hand in the cookie jar there. Faked the RPO screen short, looked deep and popped it over the head.
A perfect spiral that time.
Yeah.
Bryce Perkins on the move.
Crafty from Belfay.
Now at the 26-yard line, Panthers moving quickly. 7 plays, 69 yards so far. 1st and 10 from the DC 26. Snap off to the left of Perkins. Now he'll give McCrary, jitterbugging inside the 20. A huge hit at the 15-yard line, but Nate McCrary jostles forward for a first down to the 15. He picked up 11 yards, and the Panthers pick up another first down. Derek Robertson on the tackle.
This offense entering flow state, just everything seeming to work. 5 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards, 13 yards.
This is a fluid start, isn't it?
Wide open game.
1st and 10, DC 15-yard line. McCrary still off to the right of Perkins. Snap, chest high, gives McCrary left side, bulldozes into a DC defender down to the 8-yard line. Tackle made that time by Taylor Hawkins, his 19th tackle of the season. Panthers inside the DC 10-yard line.
Very easy to go down and get out of the way, but McCrary seeking contact there, looking to be the hammer instead of the nail, something you love to see out of a running back.
3:10 first quarter. Zeros on the scoreboard. Havoc-filled start at Ford Field. Toa checks back in at running back for the Panthers. Malik Turner lone side right as the receiver. Snap to Perkins, throws it out right. Running towards the end zone, tight end Gunnar Oaks is going to be shy by about a yard as he was lassoed in by linebacker Anthony Hines III, making his 30th tackle of the season. But the Panthers pick up a first down, and they are right on the DC doorstep.
Yeah, great effort by Oaks to try and keep his balance and reach out, coming up just short of the goal line, and I mean just.
Now these are the times I need your help to find out who has the football. On these read options between Bryce Perkins, Toa, and Nate McCrary. Panthers have 3 tight ends, all lined up to the right side. 1st and goal from the 1. Snap Perkins, he'll give the Tawa left side, fighting towards the end zone, splashes into the Honolulu blue end zone down to our right. It's a 1-yard rushing plunge for Toa, and at 2:11 first quarter, the Panthers scratch the scoreboard first. What a magnificent drive to start this ball game.
Yeah, and look at the second effort there. Dead to rights in the backfield, finding his footing and getting into pay dirt. Touchdown, Michigan.
Toa's 3rd in a 2-week span. We're here in the first quarter. Michigan to go for 1. They're 8 of 12 this season, but 7 of those 8 scores have been on the ground. In the shotgun, Perkins holds it out, fakes the give, rolls out right. Perkins gonna keep it, gonna score. Right side, high stepping into the corner of the end zone. Panthers 7, DC nothing at 2:11 here in the first quarter. 11 plays and 95 yards. It doesn't get much better than that
No,
if you're Michigan.
Poor Kelvin Joseph in an absolute blender on the point after. It was an RPO. They found them on an island. Perkins faked him. Could have gone inside, decided to go back outside and rejuke. A tough situation if you're a corner there. Too many things to defend, and then of course you have the dynamic athleticism of Bryce Perkins to boot.
Tough to be on an island there. Panthers capitalize on poor field position to take a 7-0 lead. Here at Ford Field in downtown Detroit. Back with more on the backside on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. Two minutes and 11 on the first quarter clock. It is Michigan 7 and DC nothing. But what a start we just had to this ball game. DC pushes their way all the way down the field. A delay of game penalty makes 4th and 1, 4th and 6. Michigan blocks the field goal by Matt McCrane, but penalized not only for being offsides, but also for a personal foul. DC head coach Shannon Harris says it should be an automatic first down. And then DC gets turned away by Michigan. Michigan starts at their own 5-yard line and then stitches together 11 plays, 95 yards, in which Bryce Perkins was perfect through the air, 4 for 4, 59 yards, and Toatawa dives into the end zone from 1 yard out, 7-0.
Yeah, and it's
pretty simple,
put a
right?
bow on it like that, but lots of twists and turns early in this one, and we're still in the first quarter.
BT Potter approaches, swings the right leg. It'll bounce in squib to the 10-yard line. That's where Jaden Mickens picks it up. Stutters 20 outside the right to the 25-yard line, and then up to about the 27. Put to a stop there. Kendrick Whitehead Jr. made the tackle for Michigan. 2:04 first quarter. Here comes DC for their second drive. They had an efficient first as well, in which Jordan Ta'amu was 5 of 7 for 55 yards.
Yeah, not a bad drive from DC to start this game. Just a weird turn of events that turned away right before they hit pay dirt. We'll see what they come out with after drive number 1.
A little known fact about Jordan Ta'amu, he started his collegiate career at the New Mexico Military Institute before his prosperous career at Ole Miss for 2 seasons. First down and 10 off the 27-yard line. Snap Ta'amu fakes to give to Smith, keeps it left side, and is brought down by Frank Ginda, who is still everywhere. For Michigan, Tom, who got back to the line of scrimmage, no gain. Second down and 10, 150 first quarter.
He's having himself a first quarter and some great filling up the stat sheet early from Frank Ginda.
Tom, who moves in behind center. Ducks in behind Maietti. Calls out the signal, second down and 10, down 7 from the 27. Snap to Amu, 7 steps in the drop, being lassoed, got away from one, not getting away from the second, and the Panthers converge on Ta'amu. He will rush ahead for 2 yards to bring up a third down and 8. Rondell Carter was there to make the tackle.
A good job, George Ta'amu, turning really nothing into something. Dead to rights in the backfield, nothing going on downfield. Spins forward for just a couple, but it's obviously better than taking a sack.
1:05 remaining first quarter. 3rd and 8 for the defenders from the 29-yard line. Panthers show 4 across the defensive front. Now they'll creep up a 5th. It's number 5, Frank Ginda. Empty backfield to Amu. Snap, floats it right wide open. Down the sideline, 40, 45, and out at about the 47-yard line is Chris Rowland. That is their leading receiver, now has 25 receptions on the year and 3 already today.
Lapse in coverage there, some sort of deeper zone left the flats on the near side of the field absolutely barren.
Kainakua likely saved 20 more yards on that pickup for Rowland. Down the 25 seconds, first quarter, Michigan by a touchdown. Ta'amu shotgun, sidecar left is Smith. Snap to Amu, throws it right beyond the line of scrimmage, incomplete down at the shoe tops of tight end Ben Bresnahan. Very likely Brandon will send us to the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, it looks like it was by intention that one was in the dirt. Some sort of tight end screen delay there, and Michigan was all over it. Smart play from Ta'amu.
That, in fact, will send us to the end of quarter number 1. We've had some fireworks here in the first quarter. Michigan 7, DC nothing. Back with the second quarter on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. Kicking off the second quarter from Ford Field in downtown Detroit, Michigan 7, DC nothing. One final opportunity to watch your Panthers here at Ford Field, looking for their 4th win in this 2025 campaign. Tickets for May 31st against Marcus Sims and the Houston Roughnecks still available for for the home finale later this month. Visit the UFL.com/Michigan-tickets. Fun start here from Motown, but Jordan Ta'amu, who started his collegiate career at the New Mexico Military Institute, a very little known fact, before finding his way to Ole Miss. It was a huge domino effect with a name known widely here in Michigan. Shea Patterson left Ole Miss for Michigan, opening the door for Jordan in 2018 as the Rebel starter. His senior year threw for just less than 4,000 yards and 19 touchdowns. Only Tua Tagovailoa threw for more that season. So here we go, starting the second quarter, second down and 10, DC from their own 47-yard line. Belled high snap to Amu, fades out to his left, guns it left towards the sideline, caught by Chris Rowland, who was on a heater to start this ball game. He's now got 4 receptions for over 50 yards. Got close to a first down, but knocked over the chains on the far sideline, and it looks like we'll draw up a 3rd and 1. DC goes straight to the line, accelerating on offense. Snap to Ta'amu. He gives it middle to Abram Smith, and he wrestles forward for a first down to the Michigan 42.
Yeah, I want to take you back to that previous play. Great toss by Jordan Ta'amu, running to his left, throwing away from his own body. Fitting that into an out route on a window along the sideline. Underrated there. Looked like a routine throw, but that's not easy to make.
Fitted perfectly there on the sideline, too. Just centimeters to spare. First down and 10 for DC from the Panther 42. 14-10 second quarter, 7-0 Michigan. Snap to Ta'amu, fakes the flip left to Smith, sets his feet, pumps a pass middle that is brought in by tight end Bresnahan inside the 25 down to the 20 and the 18-yard line for a DC first down. Tracked down by Whitehead Jr. and Ginda. Officials mark him down at the 19.
Yeah, that fake toss action with the bowler step generated a load of space in the back end.
Foot still on the gas for DC. Ta'amu gives up the middle to Smith on first down. Got 2 before he is whirlwinded down by Donovan Mutin.
Donovan Mutin on the stop.
Second down and 9 for DC. They like to switch up the pace and the tempo of their offense, don't they?
Yeah, they go from turbo to taking the whole play clock, even a delay of game.
And we're inside 10 here on the play clock for second down and 9 from the 18-yard line. Snapped it to Ta'amu. He'll give it sweeping left as Jackson, the running back, and Frank Ginda. I feel like I'm a broken record saying he's made a tackle. Jackson got the 16-yard line, got 2 yards, bringing up a third down and a long 6 for DC.
Makes me wonder what the all-time record for tackles and a half is. So he's been everywhere today. I don't think we've gone more than 2 plays without saying his name at least once.
Right. He is right in the middle of that Michigan defense right now, barking out the signals and spearheading the defensive effort. Timeout, DC. Shannon Harris makes the call. It sends us to a break here at Ford Field at 12:33 in the second quarter. Panthers, a 1-yard touchdown splash by Toa Taua has given them a 7-0 lead. But DC an opportunity on third down and an opportunity for Michigan to get off the field on the backside of this here timeout on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. 12:33 second quarter. Big play upcoming. It's a 3rd and 7 from the Michigan 16-yard line. DC drive so far, 9 plays, 57 yards. Behind the arm of Jordan Ta'amu and company.
Yeah, DC driving well again. Again, I say again, we've seen that once this game,
So here we go, receivers all over the lot for Ta'amu in an empty shotgun formation. Rolling motions left to right. Snap off to the right of Ta'amu, sets his feet, floats it back right corner of the end zone. Dropped it into a bucket for Braylon Sanders. Touchdown, DC.
That is a great route and an even better throw over the shoulder between 2 defenders, squished by the back of the end zone. What a throw from Jordan Ta'amu.
16-yard connection from Ta'amu to Sanders. Touchdown number 10 on the year for Jordan Ta'amu. He's the first in the double digits. Levante Taylor was behind by just a stride or 2.
Yeah, not even necessarily terrible coverage in the zone, but that's just a tough one to defend there no matter what.
The defenders routinely try for 2 on conversion attempts. They are 2 of 9 this year, one of the worst in the league in their conversion attempts. Ta'amu in the shotgun, empty backfield. 3 receivers right, 2 left. Now Roland joins the right side. Snap to Ta'amu for the 2-point conversion. Throws middle, incomplete. Briley Moore, the intended target in the Honolulu Blue end zone down to our right. And at 12:27 in the second quarter, the defenders have cut into the Michigan lead. It is 7-6. Quick 30-second break here on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. (7-6) Panthers, 12:27 second quarter. Defender scoring drive goes 10 plays, 73 yards, takes 4:44 off the clock. 2-point conversion try, no good. But a 16-yard pitch and catch from Jordan Ta'amu to receiver Braylon Sanders gets DC on the board, and that's their second really efficient drive to start this game. Panthers lucky they came up with nothing on drive number 1.
Yeah, and the complementary football is kind of going the opposite of how we talked about it in the pregame. Coach Bauer's defense reeling a little bit to start this one, obviously bailed out by that funky situation on the first drive, but really well engineered by DC there.
There's the approach and the kick for Matt McCrane. It's sent over to the right side of the field, brought out by Xavier Malone to the 25-yard line, up to the 30 far side, and pushed out of bounds.
Xavier Malone on return.
Momo Sanogo made the tackle for DC. So Panthers will embark from the 27-yard line. Drive number 2 for Michigan. What a first drive it was, led by Bryce Perkins, who was perfect on the first drive, 4 for 4 for 47 yards, but also an efficient effort on the ground.
Yeah, heavy dose of Toa Taua to begin that drive. We'll see what they come out with here on drive number 2.
Toa Taua, the first one out there as the running back. 2 receivers sent left, 2 sent right for Bryce Perkins, and the Burgundy-topped Panthers up by 1, 12:21 second quarter. In the shotgun, Perkins sidecar left is Toa Taua. Snap to Perkins, arcs to the left side. It is incomplete, off the back of a defender, but a flag comes soaring out. Intended target was Jalen Moore, who had 1 grab on drive number 1. But the Panthers move up the field with a penalty flag here.
Pass interference, defense, number 27. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Guilty party, Kelvin Joseph.
Yeah, and it wasn't bad coverage. He just didn't quite get his head around to play the ball. In phase, just could not get turned around there, all over him. It's going to be a flag every time.
So the favor will allow the Panthers to march up to the 42-yard line on a first down. Perkins scans the DC defense, looks out over it. Pistol formation, Perkins gives Taua up the middle to the 45-yard line. Tackle made again by Sanogo. Tackle number 24 on the year for the 26-year-old out of Louisville. Brings up a 2nd down and 7 for the Panthers.
45-yard line. 2nd and 7.
Finding some success, not anything groundbreaking, but 3 yards here, 4 yards there, 5 yards there. Winning the day on the ground game so far.
Chip for these guys. 7-6 Panthers, 11:30 second quarter. 2 receivers right, 1 left, tight end right side for Michigan. Motion man right to left goes Malik Turner, snap to Perkins, holds it out, pulls it back, sends it off to the right for first down yardage for the tight end, Cole Hicatini. There's a one-time Louisville Cardinal as well, teammates with Momo Sinogo, and he bounced him out of bounds. First down Panthers.
Yeah, and it's so hard to defend a quarterback like Bryce Perkins. I feel bad for the running backs always taking the licks on these RPOs, but so just crafty the way he tucks it, and then you got to respect the running threat as well as the wide flare from Hicatini.
First down and 10 from the DC 45-yard line. 11 minutes even, second quarter. Left to right in motion goes Moore, now doubles back. Perkins in the shotgun, he's in trouble. Stiff arms away 1. What a play by Perkins. Fading up to the 50-yard line, throws off balance. Caught, fumbled immediately by Turner. Ball is out with the penalty flag down to the 40-yard line. Just a carousel of different actions on that play. My goodness. Bryce Perkins
Reception by Malik Turner, penalty marker on
with
the
a
field.
weight room stiff arm.
Yeah, that was Josh Allen-esque.
Malik Turner, did he get back on that thing?
Are they
he
going to mark
did.
that incomplete? Did that hit the ground?
There's also a penalty flag out. Here's Jeff Heiser.
Ineligible play downfield. Offense number 69. Penalties decline. 2nd down. The results of the play was an incomplete pass.
This is where you and I are not unofficial to deem whether or not that is the process of the catch. And I don't think many people are able to exactly define that.
Happy to be a spectator for that one.
Yeah.
That's how we'll describe it.
2nd down and 10 from the DC 45-yard line. Snap to Perkins, give the Tawa, taken down right away, spun down. In the backfield by DC's Dennis Johnson, bringing up a 3rd down and a little over 10 yards for Michigan.
No gain in the play.
Yeah, Michigan pulling both guards there, and Dennis Johnson, one of the earliest coaching points you get as a D lineman or a linebacker. If a guard pulls, he'll take you right to the football, and that's what happened there. Great job on the pursuit.
It's now a 3rd and 10 for Michigan from a little beyond the DC 45-yard line, attacking the end zone to our left. 9:50 second quarter, Panthers by 1. 3rd and 10, Tawa off to the left of Perkins. Shotgun snap, rushes on, Perkins steps up, in trouble, stiff arms away again. Looking downfield, scanning. Now he's gonna take off and run. He'll be hit twice on the sideline. No flag comes out. Panthers sideline, and the crowd wanted one. They're not gonna get one though. Joe Wallace pushed him out.
Well, let's get a look. Oh, I don't know. That's close.
Bryce kind of got table-topped.
4th down and 7.
Got pushed a little late by Bryce Thompson, and he fell over the top of Joe Wallace.
I'll tell you what, rallying behind the quarterback announced as your starter, this Michigan sideline got into it.
So it'll bring up a 4th and 7, and Simon Laria for the first time is sent out as Michigan's punter. With Peter Bowden, the kicker.
Simon Laria in the punt for the Panthers. Jaden Mickens back to return for the defenders.
Jaden Mickens retreats as the punt returner, so Michigan not going to challenge that call. Snap from Bowden off the 42-yard line. On 4th and 7. Penalty flag flies, delay a game on Michigan.
Intentional there.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
What exactly did you end up making of that? Enough for a penalty? No.
It's right on the fence. You know, I appreciate keeping the nature of the game flowy.
Due to a time delay, appears reset the game clock to 8 minutes 44 seconds. 8 minutes 44 seconds.
Looks like now we've got it all situated. So from the 47-yard line, it's a 4th and 12. Laria on to punt for Michigan, his first opportunity of 2025. Good snap from Bowden, high arcing kick, end over end. Inside the 10-yard line, brought in by Mickens. Michigan in hot pursuit inside the 10-yard line, trying to evade at the 5-yard line and bullied out of bounds by the Michigan coverage team. Well done by the Panthers to get down there. Xavier Malone and Akeem Dent giving DC the football back. Their 3rd drive of the ball game. 30-second break here on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. .8:33 second quarter. Michigan 7, DC 6. Defenders have the football back after a Michigan punt. Simon Laria 42 yards on his first opportunity as a Panther, but now Michigan's defense has certainly had some holes through the first quarter and a half. 2 very efficient drives for DC to get it started, mainly because Jordan Ta'amu 9 of 12, 121 yards.
Yeah,
and a score.
Maybe not a schematical or a talent hole, but just a Jordan Ta'amu-shaped hole after he has diced up this defense through 2 drives.
Big reason why he's a huge MVP candidate here this season. First down and 10 from the 5-yard line. Snap to Ta'amu, giving right up the middle to Deion Jackson. Brought down like a tornado by Frank Ginda.
On the stop.
Gain of 7, bringing up a second down and 3.
Second down and 3.
Well, there's Frank Ginda again.
Surprise, surprise. Second down and 3 from the 12-yard line. Shotgun snap goes to Ta'amu, firing up the middle again. Jackson slammed down by Kendrick Whitehead Jr. Gain of 7, first down DC to the 19-yard line. They made those 2 runs look easy.
Yeah, well, it's sort of the adage is the run sets up the pass, but sometimes the opposite is true as well.
Four-man front shown by Michigan. First down and 10, 19-yard line. Ta'amu gives on a sweep left side. Deion Jackson, head full of steam, across the 25 to the 26-yard line. First down run goes for 7. Second down and 3.
DC pulling both guards right and then running back left, kind of leaving the linebackers out in limbo. Great concept there from the defenders.
Down to 7:30, second quarter. Snap to Ta'amu on 2nd and 3. Fades out to the right, being chased. Throws off balance, incomplete. Landed in no man's land. Riley Moore intended target. And Mr. Do-It-All, Frank Ginda, was in coverage.
Great coverage and then great pursuit as well from, I think it was Kendrick Whitehead Jr. off the perimeter getting pressure
Ginda
on
and Whitehead swapping roles that time.
Yeah.
7 minutes on the nose. 7-6 Panthers. 3rd and 2 for DC from the 27-yard line. Defenders are 4 of 5 so far on 3rd down this afternoon. Jackson in the sidecar right. 2 receivers short side right, short side left, 2 as well. Snap to Amu. He's back. He's rolling around. Stops, hit, tornado down. Sacked by Micah Tafua. Huge play to dock the defenders 9 yards. And it'll bring up a 4th and 12 for DC, and the Panthers likely to draw a good field position after the sack by Tafua.
And there's some of that complimentary football.
Here's the punt from Paxton Brooks, his first one of the day. Lands in the arms of Xavier Malone, who is hit, bounced around inside the 45-yard line, and finally tossed to the ground. An avalanche of white jerseys at the 41-yard line. And that's where the Panthers will start. Penalty flag is down. The 19-yard line, left side of the field. Close to where the snap was sent off.
Legal formation. Offense number 23, root left. Prior to the ball being kicked. That 5-yard penalty being assessed. In the succeeding spot, first down.
I didn't see it. Maybe somebody just didn't signal on or off, or I don't know what the deal was. Alignment-wise, looked fine for me. Might have been somebody failing to declare.
Now, sometimes you wish you'd have a little bit of a further explanation on things. That's likely one of them, just to get a further understanding of
You know, between the personal foul and then that call there, typically the UFL has been very uniquely good at transparency with officiating, but maybe an off day today.
Panthers by 1, 7-6, 6:03 second quarter with the football back from their own 46-yard line. Snap to Perkins, holds it out, gives the towel, second level. There's the burst inside the 40, and he bulldozes his way down to the 34-yard line. He put a licking on Abram Smith for a first down.
Yeah, maybe could have squeezed 2 or 3 more yards out of that one as the defense began to corral him, but seeking out contact at the second level. I love to see it from a running back, especially an undersized running back like Toa.
24 yards on the first carry of this drive for Toa. Now 45 yards on 9 carries and a score. First down and 10 Panthers. Snap to Perkins with the white glove on his left hand. Hand off to Tawa up the middle. No gain this time.
The handoff to Tawa.
Send backwards by Anthony Hines, the third. Loss of a yard. Second down and 11.
Well, it can't all be winners, but good to establish the run. That's really sort of the identity of this team, especially with Perkins under center. They're not a pass-first team. That's not to say that Perkins can't get the job done, but given his athleticism and the talent in the running back room as well as this offensive line, it's certainly this offense's first option.
Second and 11 from the defenders' 35-yard line. Panthers by 1, 4:45 second quarter. McCrary in the ballgame as the running back. Quick snap, quick throw left side. Malik Turner makes the catch, and he's knocked down right away by Bryce Thompson. Got back to the original line of scrimmage, so he picked up just a yard. Third down and 10.
Yeah, and a good job to head off Malik Turner there. Obviously has great potential and sort of a danger factor if he gets his shoulder square and gets upfield. So good job heading off the route, especially in open field like that.
Panthers just 1 of 2 so far on 3rd down. Defenders show 2 high safeties on 3rd and 10. Up by a point, 4:05 second quarter. Snap, Perkins rushes on, he's hit, somehow gets away. Bryce Perkins, the magician, on his feet, throws downfield, got his target, inside the 15, 10-5, incredible, touchdown Michigan. Cole Hicatini on an absolute wizard-like play by Bryce Perkins at 3:57 second quarter. The Panthers lead 13-6. Out of this world on May the 4th.
Yeah, and not much else to say beyond that. Dead to rights in the pocket, rolled out, contact again. Finds a wide open receiver after all that. Not every day you're going to see quarterback play like that from Perkins, and that's not the first time we've seen it from him today.
Sometimes when you watch college football, you watch a player that can win the Heisman, and you say, that right there was his Heisman moment. We'll look back and think that could be an MVP moment for Bryce Perkins. 1-point conversion try, Panthers hash mark left side. Snap, Perkins, give middle, doesn't get much easier than that. 1-point plunge, Nate McCrary. Panthers lead Bruins to 8, it's 14-6. Cole Hicatini's first touchdown of the season on an incredible play by Bryce Perkins. And that'll take us to a break here at Ford Field. 3:57 second quarter, Panthers 14 and Defenders 6. BT Potter set to kick it away for Michigan, up 14-6 at 3:57 here in the second quarter. There's the run up and the kick from BT. It's a sideways swirler into the arms of Deion Jackson at the 5-yard line. Straight sprint, 20-yard line. Oh, he got hit sticked at the 22-yard line, and they'll give him the 23. But Mika Tafua and Ron Stone Jr. shot down the field and put a licking on Deion Jackson.
Yeah, and it just looks like this team has turned a corner from the first couple of games we had with them, doesn't it, Zach?
Yeah.
Flying around to the ball a little bit
There's
more.
a spark.
Yeah. There's a belief in the team.
Leading by 8. 3:51 second quarter. Here is Jordan Ta'amu and the Defenders offense. So they do mark him at the 22-yard line. Panthers had 12 on the field. They get that last man off. Snap to Amu, throws it short to Chris Rowland left side on a screen. He got back to the line of scrimmage as he ducked down to his knees. Whitehead Jr. also having a superb game so far for Michigan, was out there providing coverage.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there was some space to work with there. He just slipped and found himself, you know, it wasn't going to be a touchdown, but there was some potential there for a positive gain. Just lost his footing. More critique opportunities on the slit turf here at Ford Field.
3:20 second quarter. Panthers 14, Defenders 6. Second down and 10, 22-yard line Defenders. Snap to Ta'amu, he's back. He's got a touchdown on the day. Clean pocket, collapses, arches down the field. Up for grabs and incomplete. Panthers in coverage, Levante Taylor of Braylon Sanders, who had the 16-yard touchdown grab earlier in the ballgame for DC. 3rd and 10.
And that's about as close to a 50-50 ball as you can get. Both guys, it was physical, but it was physical both ways, and you didn't really know who was going to come down with that one.
It seemed like that one could have been 33, 33, 33. Arnold Tarpley was back there as the safety, and he was about a stride away as well. 3rd and 10 from the 22-yard line for Jordan Ta'amu in DC. Panthers rush 3. Ta'amu back, guns it deep middle, incomplete. No one close. Akeem Denks, Michigan safety, was easily the closest one to where that pass landed. You'll take it there, 4th and 10.
Looks like it was an option route, and the receiver broke one way. Ta'amu expected him to break the other way. Shades of Michigan versus Ohio State with John O'Corn back in the day. Sent that one sailing to a safety that was not on the Wolverines.
Good snap and a botched punt. Right side, and that is disaster for DC. Paxton Brooks kicked it directly off the side of his foot, and the Panthers will take over at the defender 34-yard line.
Great field position, a great 3-and-out on the defensive side. Let's see if Michigan can really hit the gas pedal here and cash in on what is otherwise their best field position to start.
Brooks has been one of the better punters in the league this year, averaging 43 yards per punt. And now at 2:13 second quarter, Panthers up 14-6. The opportunity to extend their lead. They break the huddle, they come to the line, sending 3 off to the right. Perkins in the shotgun. McCrary, the running back, bouncing from his left to his right. 4-man front for DC. Perkins offset stance, has the snap, fakes the give. McCrary providing a block. Bryce Perkins stays on his feet towards the 25-yard line, sending us down to the 2-minute warning. A 9-yard pickup, and Bryce Perkins flashing excellence here in the first half, with Michigan leading 14-6. Thank you very much, Jeff Heiser. Educational value on the 2-minute warning. 14-6 Michigan, 2 minutes, second quarter. Opportunity to score on the backside here on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. Two-minute warning has come and gone. here in the second quarter. 14-6 Michigan as they huddle up back at the 30-yard line. Due up as a second down and 1. What an excellent start for Bryce Perkins. He only has half of the attempts Jordan Ta'amu has. 17 less yards, also has a score, but he's 7 of 8, a quarterback rating of 238, which is unheard of.
Yeah, that is nearing perfect in as far as efficiency is concerned. Not many better ways to lead an offense from the position that you've got than the way Bryce Perkins is doing it now.
Here they come, second down and a yard, up 14-6 with 2 minutes on the second quarter clock. Shotgun snap to Perkins. He'll give it up the middle to McCrary. Got back to the line of scrimmage, but not much more. Kyle Phillips, interior defensive lineman out of Fresno State, made the tackle.
No gain in the play. Third down and 1.
Third and 1. McCrary sent off to the sideline. Toatawa back in and running back for Michigan. 5'8", 204, 24-year-old out of Nevada. Third and a yard for Michigan. Ross motions right to left, doubles back, snap. Perkins gives left side to Tawa, brought down for a loss. DC fired into the backfield, and Phillips makes a second consecutive stop to bring up fourth down in a long 2 yards. And a field goal try for BT Potter.
DC, 30 seconds away.
After a timeout by DC and Shannon Harris.
Well, still an opportunity.
To 1 minute, 8 seconds. Thank you.
Opportunity for BT Potter to push this one to a 2-score game.
And BT didn't have any opportunities last week in the loss to St. Louis. He'll have a shot here from 44. That'd be a season long. From the hash mark left side, his season long so far is 43.
BT Potter in for the
Just 5 of 8 so far this year. Peter Bowden will snap. Laria will hold. BT Potter, hash mark left side, 44 yards for his season long. Up 14-6 with 1:08 in the second quarter. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way towards the end zone on the left and put through by BT Potter. New score, Michigan 17 and DC 6. They take advantage of tremendous field position granted to them by Paxton Brooks, punter for DC. But also Michigan, Brandon, if they're able to get a stop, they've got all 3 timeouts in their back pocket. 64 seconds left.
Yeah, DC playing the clock game, trying to get it back, burning a timeout there on the field goal attempt. Good slot from BT Potter, pushes it to a 2-score margin now at 11 points, but Michigan does retain the opportunity to try and get the ball back here in this half. If I'm Mike Nolan, I'm not terribly disappointed with what I'm seeing. You know, barring a crazy negative play in the first play of this drive, I think I'll probably just let this one get guided to the break, but nonetheless, the opportunity is still there. No timeouts used in the first half.
Right, and given exactly who DC is, at a 4-1 record, leading the XFL conference, with a win over Birmingham, this is one that you look at on the schedule and you say, you know what, this could be one of the tougher assignments so far this year. Michigan's making worth of it right now. 17-6, 64 seconds to play second quarter. Run up and the kick by BT Potter towards Jaden Mickens. Brought in 3-yard line, angling out left side of the field. Mickens to the 25-yard line, then sandwiched at about the 29-30. Penalty flag does come out back at the 15-yard line.
That is right on the 15-yard line. Great toss.
Yeah.
During the return, illegal. Double team block offense, number 25. We're going to have the second number. That penalty is a 15-yard penalty. Fully enforced, first down. DC.
Well, the lights are bright for Jeff Heiser. The lights are bright at Ford Field for our officiating crew today.
Well, maybe his team just didn't give him a second number. You don't know that. Deion Jackson was one.
It's just been an all-game kind of a thing.
Number 25 and number 11.
Those are both eligible numbers by default, Jeff.
So Momo Sanogo and Deion Jackson, the guilty party there. First down and 10, all the way back at the 9-yard line for DC. 17-6 Michigan, snap to Amu, sends it right, caught Roland, 15-yard line, stiff arms and sent out of bounds. Akeem Dent was there to push him out at the 17. Second down and 2 for DC with 53 ticks left.
I don't know if it's by design, but Roland looks an awful lot like St. Brown out there between the turf tape and operating in the slot, the way he handles the ball.
Second down and 2, not a bad comparison. Ta'amu throws it right incomplete. Roland again. Pardon, that's Antonio, the intended target. 13, not 12.
Like
but down on the turf near sideline,
yeah.
Levante Taylor is on his backside, being tended to by the DC crew. He was all over Antonio there.
Yeah, it doesn't look good either. Non-contact, and it happened on the stop, which you hate to see.
Due to the defensive injury, this will be Michigan's first charge timeout.
Doesn't come at a terrible time for the timeout sake, as it would be a third down and 2.
He's up on his feet now here on the near
walking around.
sideline. Which,
A noticeable limp for Levante, but
under his
with
own
no
power, which is good, but not always the best sign in terms of sort of big deal long-term injuries. So obviously we don't want to speculate anything. We'll wait for the report to come out, but didn't look great.
Panthers lead 17-6. 49 seconds left second quarter as Taylor heads back to the locker room. So out of the huddle to the line comes DC. A third down and 2. Crowd making some noise here at Ford Field. Ta'amu in the shotgun. He throws it left. Caught Mickens. First down up to the 27-yard line. A little RPO action for DC themselves there to move the chains for a first down.
Yeah, I think it's settled down, return to normalcy. You're working on a short clock here if you're DC, so expect tempo. Yeah, here they come.
Ta'amu shotgun, belt high snap, he's back, sets his feet, now in trouble, rolling out right, being chased. Ta'amu floats it out of bounds towards the near sideline, and it bounces into row 3, and a guy from Monroe picks it up.
Good from Ta'amu there, under a lot of pressure just to get that one off and away. Obviously can't have a sack right now, so stops the clock, gives yourself a second to breathe, to get a full play call in rather. So what do you think they need for a field goal here?
To have to get towards Matt McCrane range. His long on the season is 53 yards. They need about the 35 to match his season long. 17-6 Michigan, 36 seconds, second quarter. Snap to Amu, bull rushes on, passes floated up into the air. Michigan's underneath it with Kendrick Whitehead, and the officials near far sideline march in to say interception. The official on the far sideline said yes. Everyone else said no. They're going to have to take a look.
That's going to be close. It's going to come down to what kind of camera angles we're working with.
He certainly scooped it up off the turf. But then
it makes contact
after,
with the ground. It's a matter. Yeah, I think you can see when he rolls over there. That's close for sure.
Nonetheless, though, brings up a 3rd and 10 with 30 seconds left. Snap off the 27-yard line. Penalty flag is out. Prior and indications point towards a false start on DC.
False start. Offense, number 7.
Well, there are ways you want to handle short clock situations, and there is the way that DC is handling this one at the end of the first half here. Not been great.
Yeah, Durant jumped way off sides.
22-yard line. 3rd down and 15.
So now here's the opportunity for Michigan, 3rd and 15. 22-yard line on their own side of the field for DC. 30 seconds left. Panthers show 3 in a rush, 3 deep safeties. Snap to Amu, dumps it over the middle to Mickens. Panthers rally and swing him to the ground. Heck of a play by Javen White up to the 29-yard line. Gain of 7 brings up a 4th down and 8.
Michigan, 30 seconds to go.
Michigan utilizes their second timeout.
Coach Nolan wants to give his guys a chance. A long way to go with 23 seconds and just the one timeout, but nonetheless, you'd love to see more reps of your offense.
And you never know, after the first error on a punt by Paxton Brooks, where he shanked it off to the right. Punt of less than 20 yards gave Michigan the 34-yard line and the field position for B.T. Potter to kick his first field goal in a span of 2 weeks.
Well, you want to go by phases of the game. Michigan certainly has the advantage on special teams. They've shown the advantage on the defensive side of the ball. And dare I say it, well, the offense has been efficient for DC. I'm going to give it to Michigan in the first half. All 3 phases heading our way.
Snap to Brooks, high arcing punt down to the right where Malone waits for it, takes it in. 23-yard line, dead sprint, bounces it out left to the 35-yard line. Hit and taken down to the 37 by about 3 different defenders. And that leaves just 10 seconds left here in the second quarter.
Well, you've got 2, maybe 3 plays if you get a quick one off, or a spike of sorts if you need it. But one timeout, you need about 40 yards to really give B.T. Potter a realistic shot at it.
Yeah, your best shot here would be a deep shot or a penalty.
If I'm DC, I'm giving up the middle of the field here, but you don't want to be too soft because it's not like they need the full field.
Panthers just going to take a knee. So Bryce Perkins ducks in behind center, takes a knee, and you'll take that first half any day of the week. Panthers will get the ball to start half number 2 up 17-6 in what was a dominating first quarter for this football team. Panthers by 11. Halftime is upon us here at Ford Field on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. Back to the action here at Ford Field in downtown Detroit. 17-6 entering the third quarter of play. Panthers aiming for their fourth win of this 2025 campaign. What a start it was for Bryce Perkins. 7 of 8, 104 yards through the air and a touchdown. On the ground, Toa Tawa, 10 attempts for 39 yards and a score. Nate McCrary also 3 attempts for 18. Perk had 11 yards on 3 tries. Through the air, Malik Turner led the way, 3 receptions for 29. Cole Hicatini, 2 for 45 and a score. Jalen Moore, 1 for 23. Gunnar Oaks, 1 for 7. So the profile not quite as versatile as we're used to seeing through the air for Perkins. But 172 total yards, 104 through the air, 68 on the ground, 11 first downs. And the Panthers sent to get the football first. There is the approach in the swing of the right leg by McCrane, brought in by Xavier Malone, far side 15-yard line. On a dead sprint out past the 30, he is hit and swirled down. And the 37-yard line. That's where the Panthers will embark first drive, half number 2.
Yeah, I mean, he was moving. Found a seam, and, you know, I don't want to say a shoestring tackle to save points, but 1 or 2 more steps with the kind of velocity he was generating, and you might not even see him again.
First and 10 from their own 37.
So, Panthers start from the 37-yard line. Here is Perkins and the Panther offense. Toa Tawa set up as the bullet in the pistol on snap number 1 of half number 2. 17-6 Michigan, first down and 10. High snap to Perkins, gives on a sprint right side for Tawa to the 39-yard line. Gain of 2. Joe Wallace made the tackle for DC, drawing up a second down and 8 and a shift change right away for Michigan.
You know, it feels like we almost don't see this team playing from these positions as much this year, at least the games that we've been on. A 2-score lead, settling into the offense, a big opportunity to really push the envelope on this one early in the second half.
Especially not last week. They were outscored 14-0 in quarter number 2 at St. Louis. Second down and 8. 39-yard line, Panthers up 11. Perkins leans in, looks at a blitz, slow snap, back, sets his feet, steps up in the pocket, takes off and runs up at the 45-yard line, slides to midfield, but he started his slide at the 49. Still good for a first down. He got 9 yards on second down and 7. Bryce Perkins now up to 19 yards rushing today.
Yeah, and that's those QB instincts. You have that timer in your head, identifying the blitz pre-snap, looking, nothing's home, I gotta go.
Panthers break the huddle, send 3 to the left tight end right side. Toa Tawa running back sidecar right for Perkins. First and 10 off the 49. Snap and a give to Toa Tawa, pinballing off defenders, and he's down to the 39-yard line of DC.
Tawa on the carry.
Gain of 6, bringing up a second down in a short 4 for Michigan.
Gain of 7.
Good first down play there, keeping yourself on pace. The whole playbook's open here, second in a short to medium.
Here come the Panthers. Tight end lined up right side. Malik Turner motions across the face of Perkins left to right. Second down and 4 from the 44-yard line of DC. Perkins a snap, holds it out, gives it to Tawa, spins out of a tackle, and is close to a first down right at the 41-yard line. Officials march in and give him a first down. Tough running in a smooth B button there from Toa Tawa. At 12:45 third quarter, Panthers 17, Defenders 6.
Yeah, the best running backs have 2 good moves per run, or the ability to generate 2 quick cuts in succession. Every good running back's got a 1 cut. It's the ones that can cut and then spin, or cut and then cut back, that really can turn nothing into something and add value in that position.
Busy crowd today. Quiets down for Perkins to operate from the 41-yard line. First down and 10 at 12:20 third quarter. Shoestring snap back to Perkins. He's in trouble. Spins out of another one. Perkins looks down the sideline. Flag comes out. Perkins down the far side, 25-20. But the flag might negate that long carry by Perkins,
Penalty marker on the field.
as it flew out as soon as he exited the pocket.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Offense. Number 84. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Got tight end Gunnar Oaks.
Great play again by Perkins. You know, we've seen it time and time again today, but just especially when you step up and then have to step back out and roll out of the pocket that way, it's just so hard not to, hold on to a jersey as a defender trying to spin or push away from you.
Following the penalty, ball spot at the Panthers' 49-yard line.
So that puts the Panthers in reverse. It'll be a first down and 20 from their own 49-yard line, bounced back inside their own territory. McCrary checks in as the running back off to the left of Perkins. Offset stance, left in front of the right. First and 20 from the 49-yard line, up 11 at 11:50 here in the third. Snap to Perkins, guns it middle, incomplete, intended for Oaks.
Perkins pass intended for Gunnar Oaks, incomplete.
Helmet came flying off of Cole Cabral.
Second down and 20.
Yeah, he had to go 10 yards back to get that thing.
Second down and 20. DC is getting a rush on Perkins.
Yeah, something where we didn't see it all in the first half. Perkins obviously capable of doing some fantastic things under pressure, but
Certainly has the ability to extend plays, but they've had two defenders in the backfield on almost every passing play so far. Snap to Perkins, in trouble, floats out a screen, and it falls harmlessly incomplete as 1-2 defenders sent Perkins down to the ground. It was Wallace and it was Sonogo who are right in the jaw of Bryce Perkins.
yeah, I just worry that every coach in the stadium kind of knew a screen pass was coming, second and long. That is the textbook play there. Maybe Perkins doesn't love it. Third and a zip code here to cover. We'll see what they dial up.
From their own 49-yard line. Two high safeties for the defenders. They still show four across the front. Helmet high snap. Perkins, he's back in trouble. Spins out of one. Perkins looks some more. Now he'll step up, bounce off of one. Here goes Perkins, inside the 30, to the 25. He's got a first down. Bryce Perkins to the 20-yard line. That is just incredulous by Bryce Perkins as he lost his lid. He's down on the ground and gets back up with helmet in hand. I mean, come on.
And time again today, we're seeing Perkins step up and make the play, potentially a factor on confidence. Finally getting the trust of the coaching staff saying, hey, you're our guy, go out there and make the plays. And he's doing that today. Efficient through the air, devastating the defenders on the ground. I mean, dead to rights twice on that play, rolling out looking at nothing. Turning it into a 20-yard, 25-yard scramble there.
His helmet was jarred off by Isaiah Johnson. So Danny Etling is into the game to play quarterback for Michigan.
Well,
56% completion percentage this year, 118 yards, no touchdowns, one pick. Came
just
last
as I
week.
say it, huh? Just as I say it.
So Etling in the pistol, keeping our eye on Perkins. He's on the far sideline, helmet in hand. Snap to Danny. He will give it up the middle to McCrary. Bouncing away from defenders inside the 5. And the Panthers are down to the 1-yard line. And usually it's Perkins who comes back into the game. Etling sent to the sideline. It's usually Bryce Perkins that tricks us. This time it's Danny Etling, and McCrary goes for a big gain.
Yeah, great ball fake from Etling. It's the next man up mentality. They needed him for a play. He came in there, generated some great misdirection, we'll call it, in the backfield.
First and goal from the defender 1. Knocking on the defender doorstep. 17-6 Panthers. Perkins in the shotgun. Snap, holds it out, hands it off, walking in Nate McCrary. Touchdown, Michigan. The lead balloons to 23-6 at 9:14 in the third quarter. Took him 9 plays and 73 yards to find pay dirt for a third time here this afternoon.
Interesting to see that they're still going for one, because 18 points, which is what it would be if they convert here, is still technically a 2-possession game. Granted, very low likelihood of that materializing into a 2-possession deficit, but still, something to consider.
Yeah, if you look ahead, DC, more than 75% of the time, they go for 2. Overloading the left side is Michigan. on a one-point try with McCrary as the back to the right of Perkins. Snap to Bryce, fakes to give, rolls out, turns on the Jets. Bryce tosses towards the end zone.
Man.
Oh my goodness.
The conversion is good.
It's like a blindfolded pass to Malik Turner, who scores for one, making it a 24-6 Panther lead at 9:14 in the third quarter.
Bryce Perkins is in flow state today. He is seeing things.
It's like you kind of wish the field was 200 yards long sometimes, so these guys wouldn't stop playing on offense.
Yeah.
24-6 Michigan, 9:14. Third quarter, Panthers all over the defenders, trying to put the fourth win of the season together on the Michigan Panthers audio network. Third quarter, 24-6 Michigan, 9:14 left on the clock here in the third quarter of week 6. Liquid drive there for Michigan, 9 plays, 73 yards, 5:46 off the clock. Bryce Perkins, a give to Nate McCrary for one, and then connecting with Malik Turner for the one-point conversion to give the Panthers a large two-possession lead. The defenders would need 2 scores and 2 different three-point conversions.
Yeah, I don't have the stats to create a model in front of it, but you'd have to think the likelihood of that is slim to none and slim to leave in town.
Kick from BT Potter, bounces inside the 10, brought out by Chris Rowland. Stutters and bounces out to the left with a lot of green space in front of him, but he can't get around. Panthers special teams are Xavier Malone at the 26-yard line. That's where DC will embark their first drive of half number 2. Jordan Ta'amu, 13 of 22 for 146 and a score. Deion Jackson on the ground, 9 for 38 and through the air. Their leader was Chris Rowland, 6 grabs for 59 yards.
An important angle there from the Panthers special teams. Rowland found the edge. He just couldn't quite turn the corner. He had nothing but green in front of him if he could get around that.
24-6 Panthers. 9:07 third quarter, first down, defenders, 26-yard line. Snap to Ta'amu, gives sweeping left to Jackson, who cuts back through the Panther defense for 9 yards on first down to the 35-yard line, brought down by Carter and Ginda. Second down and 1. Defenders go straight to the line. Ta'amu ducks in behind center. Single setback Jackson. Snap to Ta'amu. Fakes to give. Now sets up in a busy pocket. Slings it down the middle of the field. Caught wide open. Rolling. He's going to score inside the 5. Sprinting away from Arnold Tarpley. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, Chris Rowland, a score for DC and his 3rd of the season.
I don't know, it must have been some sort of blown coverage down the seam, maybe missing a high safety, a step down or something there, but Rowland, again with that uncanny resemblance to St. Brown, no one even close.
Goes for 65 yards and a DC score. 2-point try coming here for DC. They've cut the Panther lead to 12, 24-12. They elect the left hash mark. Ta'amu in the gun. Rowland moves into the set on the left side. Now motions over to the right into the slot. Deion Jackson just off to the left of Ta'amu. Snap, Ta'amu throws middle. Caught. 2-point conversion. Good. Riley Moore.
With 8:30 to go in the third quarter.
Well, just like that.
24. DC Defenders 14.
10-point ball game. A lot of game left to be played. The bulk of the third quarter still, and the entirety of the fourth.
Now that is the fun entertainment aspect too of the United Football League, is that even with the large lead, all it takes is one big play and then one stop, and then you have the ability for the alternate possession at the end of the ball game. And a 10-point lead really does not look all that big. But the defenders, on the other hand, Brandon, they've had a hard time stopping Bryce Perkins today.
Yeah, you get the feeling, if you're a DC fan, you needed something like that because of how well this Panthers offense has been operating. So we'll see what the mental fortitude of this team looks like. Taking a gut punch there, what can they answer with?
And McCrane has it teed up. There's the run-up and the kick from McCrane. End-over-end kick splashes down at the 8-yard line. Devin Ross sprinting it out near sideline. Evades one across the 30-yard line and up to the 32.
Ross on the return.
Brought down by Willie Drew Jr. And at 8:24 third quarter, Panthers up 10 after a 65-yard connection from Jordan Ta'amu to Chris Rowland. 44 seconds on the drive, 2 plays worth 74 yards. And the defenders creep right back into this one.
I don't know if you caught that, Zach. We had some ref supporters on the Jumbotron, maybe some friends and family up there. There was a sign that said, "Here for the refs." Tough day for it. Jeff Heeser not on his game today.
Panthers start from the 32-yard line. First down and 10, Perkins in the shotgun. Has the snap, gives to Toa up the middle, sprinting, bulldozing, bullying up to the 42-yard line for a first down. The Panthers offensive line gets to that second level and makes an immediate impact in the run game, and Tawa running hard picks up 10 yards and a first down to the 42.
Almost can't run some sort of deeper or more conservative shell if you're the defenders. If you go too high, it's going to go up the middle for at least 7-8 yards, and one of your safeties is going to end up being on the other end of Toa, which can't feel good.
Now over 60 yards here today is Toa. 7:45 third quarter. Shotgun Perkins, first and 10 from the 42. Belt high snap, gives to Tawa once again, rolls over a defender to the 46-yard line. That defender was Derek Robertson.
Derek Robertson on the stop.
Gain of 4. Second down and 6 for the Panthers on this next snap. Tight bunch of receivers sent out to the right side. Now Turner breaks it and motions across the face of Perkins right to left. Panthers attack the end zone to our left from the 45 at 2nd and 6. There's Perkins, throws it left side, caught by Mariner for a Panther first down to the 46. Weird that we haven't said that name so far today. First grab for COC after a 100-yard afternoon last week.
No, you took the words right out of my mouth. He was one of my guys to watch today, finally getting involved partway through the 3rd quarter here. Good to see his name.
First down number 18 for Michigan this afternoon. 6:30, 3rd quarter, 24-14 Michigan. First down and 10, defenders 46-yard line. Perkins leans in, has the snap, play action, rolling out right, throws off his back foot, near sideline, over the shoulder grab, Gunnar Oaks into the bucket by Bryce Perkins to the 12-yard line, and the Panthers are rolling again.
Perkins rolling right, rushes in his face, throws back across his body, over a defender and over the shoulder.
It's like a fadeaway jump shot from the baseline.
The degree of difficulty on that throw, not to mention how far downfield it was. Bryce Perkins putting on a show today for Michigan.
34 yards from Bryce Perkins to Gunnar Oaks. Tight ends getting involved today for Michigan. Now at the 12-yard line, it's a first down. Snap, Perkins gives, Tawa middle, bouncing off defenders. Still pinballing and falling down at the 2-yard line. He reached the rock out for an extra yard. He's down to the 1, and the Panthers continue to slug some more.
Such a physical runner, and you know he just smells the end zone. He wanted it there. Toa Tawa coming downhill, bouncing off of defenders down to, they're calling it the 2.
So they will move him back to the 2. Knee must have been down before the extension there for Tawa. Panthers lined up from the DC 2-yard line. Snap to Perkins. He'll give it to Tawa. Stiff arming, stepping away, hit and dumped back at the 4-yard line. Tough loss there, Kyle Phillips.
Yeah, well defended by DC, and even then it took, 4 or 5 hats to bring Toa Tawa down. Just love the way he runs the football.
2nd and goal from the 4.
That's one thing DC's done well tonight. They've rallied to the ball.
They've had to.
It's
tough to get anybody to the ground today.
So now 2nd and goal from the 4. Here's where Perkins accelerates, and he excels inside the red zone with the running game. Snap to Bryce, he's gonna throw. Throws on a slant, caught right side, penalty flag down. Would have been a touchdown for COC Mariner. Would have been his first, but the Panthers likely to be penalized for an offensive pass interference.
Just a little too obvious on the slant there, that quote-unquote slant there.
A long conversation here. Jeff Heiser patiently awaits.
Pass interference, offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down. Penalty was on number 7.
So it would have been the first for COC. Ends up as a penalty, and he'll have to wait just a little bit longer. Mike Nolan conversing with the officials on the far sideline. He's still got his challenge. It's a big play call here. It's a big call in general.
I see.
Was there a challenge out, or are they just reviewing it here?
Michigan is challenging the ruling on the field for potential pass interference in defense.
Oh, there's our answer.
Okay, so we have a couple things to look at here, Jeff.
Gonna turn up the command center here and hope for a call.
Certainly coming off the line of scrimmage, he is grabbed here, but that ball is still in the hands of the quarterback when he's taken to the ground.
So I could really only put that into the class of defensive holding. You can't put that as defensive pass interference. And since it was defensive pass interference, that was called, that was challenged, then I'm going to deny the challenge because there is no defensive pass interference on the play. That is correct.
This is not going to be well received by Ford Field, I'll tell you that.
DC is charged his first time out. The results of the play is a touchdown. Correction, my bad, correction. We had offensive pass interference, which is enforced.
And Jeff Heiser, again, the lights are very bright here this afternoon at Ford Field, and the crowd's going to let him hear that one.
I spoke to some of the UFL officiating supervisors here pregame in the press box.
Correction, Michigan has charged the timeout. This is their first.
Just waiting on the next correction.
And they had a lot of really good things to say about Jeff Heiser, but a couple mistakes here and there, they pile up, and they're more noticeable when you're wearing black and white stripes.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. Maybe just forgot his Wheaties this morning. Obviously, to make it to this level, you've got to be a great official. So
to make it a little bit simpler, Michigan challenged for pass interference, but it would have been defensive holding. Play your game there. So 4th and 14. This is 4th and goal from the 14. Snap to Perkins. It's bobbled. Can't get away. He is thrown down way back at the 37-yard line. But officials come in and they'll stop him at the 28. That's where you say thank you.
Yeah, went from goal to go to a very long field goal. DC pleading its case.
Yeah, they are. Shannon Harris is irate on the sideline, pleading that Perkins gathered it and then made a conscious effort to try and run. So from the 28-yard line, it's 3rd and goal. Snap to Perkins, he's back, looking, throw sideline, caught Mariner, hesitates, and is spun out of bounds at the 17-yard line.
Calvin Joseph on the stop.
Well, you'll take what you can get out of a situation like that. Putting BT Potter on his preferred hash, giving him a couple more yards to work with, but you know, you're down on the 1-yard line. And a collapse like that, it's not winning football.
BT Potter in for the field goal attempt.
So a 36-yarder here for BT. Panthers up by 10, 24-14, 2:50, third quarter. Snaps a good one, kick is up. It is no good from BT Potter, but 2 different penalty markers are out. Brandon, I think they bull rushed the center.
Well, we'll see if Heiser's got this one in his bag.
BT was good earlier from 45. Saw red and pushed this one. Here we go again.
Personal foul. Receiving team for Linfield, number 9. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, it was whispered there at the end, but that is a Michigan first down.
Don't know how many times I've heard the defending side of the field goal referred to as the receiving team, but maybe shades of a kick 6 there. The ruling was correct. Maybe we're just nitpicking at this point. Maybe it's in poor taste to kick an official while he's down.
Is being put at the 3-yard line.
It may be a flawed understanding of us in the booth on how personal fouls are interpreted and enforced in this league, but that's 2 funky calls now right in this spot on personal fouls.
Well, you'll take it if you're Michigan. It's a first down and goal from the 3. Just Williamsport like havoc. Snap to Perkins. He'll keep it around left side. Stiff arm a man, stopped at the 5 and taken down there.
Bryce Perkins on the keep.
Just
And it looked like
absolute
that one was
mystery.
a mess too. You know, it looked like the motion of the play was going left. Perkins looked like he was headed the wrong way himself. Some sort of miscommunication. And this game is all
It's turned
over
on
the
its
place
head.
as we enter the late stages of the third quarter here.
This game is really turned on its head. Second down and goal from the 5. So we've been all the way back to the 38-yard line. Here we are back to the 5. All on first and goal. Snap to Perkins, he's back, looks, in trouble, trips, Perkins sprinting out right, puts down a stiff arm, somehow still on his feet, tornadoes into the end zone, touchdown Michigan, Bryce Perkins, MVP moment in week 6.
I don't know if I've seen a run like that in any football league, at any level. College, pro, UFL. Stuff of legend from Bryce Perkins there. I thought he was down 2-3 separate times, staying on his feet to move at the end.
This guy is an alien. I mean, who does that? 141 third quarter, Panthers 30, Defenders 14. Perkins, gasping for breath, has Toa off to his right. Snap to Perk, give the Toa, hit stopped. 1-point conversion, no good.
The conversion attempt is no good. The score.
What do you even make of this kid?
I mean, an absolute refusal to go down. Banged up earlier in this game and still capable of producing absolutely show-stopping moments like that. A rare athlete emerging at the quarterback position for the Michigan Panthers.
141 third quarter, Panthers 30, Defenders 14. More to come on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. A minute and 41 on the third quarter clock. Panthers 30, Defenders 14. Wizardry is likely the best way to put the actions by Bryce Perkins on that previous drive and all drives before. 5-yard touchdown rush for Perkins around the right end. 10 plays, 77 yards to put him up 16. Bouncing kick from B.T. Potter brought in by Deion Jackson. Running it out, sweeping right. Panthers rally and converge on him at the 13-yard line.
Great
I'll tell you what,
again.
It's been a very underrated aspect of this season. B.T. Potter's way of kicking. It seems like he's got 3 or 4 different ways that he sets up the ball, whether that's sideways on the tee or straight up. And it helicopters or it goes end over end, and he knows how to get the bounce. And it puts the returners in a blender.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, maybe an underrated aspect of kicking that we'll see move to either some other teams or potentially even some other leagues, just giving returners a different look, something to study in the week heading up to the game.
Panthers back up 16, 30-14 with 1:34. Snap to Ta'amu off the 13-yard line. Slant pattern complete to Chris Rowland, who has been the do-it-all guy today for DC. First down, gain of 12. Mutant and Nakua made the tackle for Michigan.
Yeah, and what's otherwise been a relatively shaky game for DC, Rowland has been a bright spot.
Shotgun snap to Amu, sweeping left. Abram Smith up to the 30-yard line. Brought down by Ron Stone Jr. They'll give him the 31. Gain of 6, second down and 4. Next play for DC. Straight to the line go the defenders with 55 seconds left, third quarter. Trips off to the right. Ta'amu shotgun. Smith to his right hip. Snap to Amu, give to Smith. Hit in the backfield by Frank Ginda, and a loss of 2. Another TFL for Frank Ginda. He's got 4 now on the year.
Yeah, we must have gone too many plays without mentioning his name. Frank Ginda again popping up on the stat sheet.
Here comes this crowd on 3rd and 6. Defenders do have to snap it one more time. Ta'amu points to his head, looks right, looks left. Scans the defense, snap the Ta'amu, 3rd and 6, throws it right, tapped up and incomplete. Fell down to the turf, triple coverage he threw it into. DJ Miller was there in coverage, and it's a 4th and 6 for DC, and things not going the way of the defenders today at Ford Field.
No,
that sends us to the 4th.
And it's that aspect of just a full game of football that we wanted to see out of our Panthers here at home. A real turning point, an inflection point in the season. It just feels like watching this team, it's not the same team we've watched a few weeks on.
There is certainly a spark here today versus what we saw last weekend in St. Louis, but they've still got 15 minutes to close the deal, up by 16. 30-14, fourth quarter on tap on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. Fourth quarter due up here from Ford Field in downtown Detroit. Panthers 30, Defenders 14. Well, it's been an excellent 3 quarters to start for Michigan, and Bryce Perkins in his first full-time shift as the full-time quarterback of this team. Danny Etling got 1 snap because Perkins' lid popped off, came back onto the field for the next play. 10 of 13, 157 to the air, and 1 score, quarterback rating of 203.8.
Yeah, you can't ask much better than that out of the dual threat quarterback that Bryce Perkins is, making incredibly difficult throws on the run, in the pocket, flexing that athleticism on one of the longest 5-yard runs I think you're ever likely to see.
Not enough can be said of the effort today, too, for Toa Taua. 17 tries, 72 yards on the ground, and a score. Now 3 touchdowns the last 2 weeks for Toa Taua, seemingly coming out of nowhere, too, filling in the role for the injured Matthew Colburn.
Yeah, late addition to the roster, but clearly taking this opportunity and running with it. He's shot up to a starting position, probably going to break 20 carries a game, maybe 25 even.
30-14 Panthers. Good snap back to the right-legged kicker Paxton Brooks. Another short one. Splashes down at the 36-yard line. Takes a friendly defender bounce down to the 29. And that's where the Panthers will embark on their first drive of quarter number 4, up by 16. Bryce Perkins has been the architect for something special here today. 10 of 13, 157, and a score. Making a difference on the ground as well, per usual. 8 tries for 55. And you thought that first down and goal from the 5. Touchdown rush was special earlier in the drive. 3rd down and 20. Bouncing off defenders and pinballing his way for a first down. Most special play of the day so far by Bryce Perkins. First down and 10 from their own 29-yard line. Left to right go the Panthers here to start quarter number 4. Perkins leans in. There's the snap. Gives to McCrary. Fighting his way up the middle to the 32-yard line. Brought down by Dennis Johnson out of Grand Valley State, hometown of Columbus, Ohio. Drawing up a Panthers 2nd down and 6. Out of the huddle to the line come the Panthers. They send 3 off to the right. Tight end left side, it's Weidermeyer. 2nd down and 6 from the 33. Chest high snap, Perkins pumps a pass left. Weidermeyer dropped it at the 36-yard line. Would have been just his 2nd grab of the year. His first was for a 3-yard touchdown.
Incomplete.
First target of the day. 3rd down and 6 from the 33-yard line down to 14 minutes here in the 4th quarter. Panthers by 16.
Yeah, and it was kind of low and on that near hip. A tough, underrated catch to make. You still one you got to make at this level, but it's no gimme.
Here come the Panthers. Gold bottoms, gold tops, dark red jerseys today. For the defenders, icy white helmets and jerseys, cherry red bottoms. 3rd and 6 for the Panthers from the 33. Belt high snap, Perkins in trouble. Guns it left. It is batted up and incomplete. Intended for Cioce Mariner.
Perkins pass intended for Cioce Mariner, incomplete.
Really the first questionable pass thrown by Bryce Perkins today. Out there in coverage was Michael Ojemudia, one-time transfer from Michigan over to Iowa, hometown of Farmington Hills.
Yeah, local guy. And you just get the feeling on another day that pass is tipped up and intercepted without much second thought. But it's just one of those days for Bryce Perkins. Where even when things aren't going right, they seem to be going all right.
So 4th and 6, Simon Laria called on the punt here for Michigan. Spiraling snap back from Peter Bowden. Long kick, 1 step and a big boot from Laria. Lands down to Roland at the 17-yard line, swirling through defenders and up to the 25. Panthers put a stop to it there. 12:52, 4th quarter. Panthers 30, defenders 14. Sends Jordan Ta'amu and company back onto the field. A little known fact about Jordan Ta'amu, who started his collegiate career at the New Mexico Military Institute, then found his way to Ole Miss after the domino effect started with Shea Patterson working his way towards Michigan. opened the door for Jordan to be the 2018 starter for the Rebels. 3,918 yards his senior year, just behind Tua Tagovailoa. First down and 10, snap to Amu, gives up the middle to Smith, who is barreled over by Panther defenders at the 27-yard line. They'll grant him the 28. Gain of 3, second down and 7. Kai Nakua, Donovan Mutin combined on the stop there for Michigan.
Yeah, and on that play, it looked like it was everybody but Frank Ginda for the Michigan defense. So maybe a little paradox as to what we've been seeing out of this unit so far.
Shotgun snap to Amu, pumps it right. That's caught on the sideline by Roland and brought down by Kendrick Whitehead Jr. and Frank Ginda at the 38-yard line. Down to 12-10, fourth quarter. Panthers 30, defenders 14.
And the scoreboard may not reflect it, but Jordan Ta'amu putting together quietly a very nice game. 16 of 26, about 235, 2 touchdowns.
Foot on the gas pedal, snap to Ta'amu. Quarterback keeper up the middle across the 40 and up to the 41-yard line. Brought down by Willikis. Haven't said his name much today, but surely making an impact up front for Michigan, as he always does. One-man switch for DC. Onto the field goes Antonio, and off comes Powell. Second down and 7 from the 41. Floating back a snap to Amu, who's going to arch a pass deep right side, incomplete. Just past the outstretched fingertips of Arnold Tarpley Jr. Chris Rowland, the intended target of Ta'amu's pass there. Drawing up a third down and 7 now from the 41. Clock ticking down to 11:15, fourth quarter. Panthers 30, defenders 14.
A tough throw to make there. Rowland had the route run. He had the spot between the zones. You've got to put that one a little bit more on a rope. Obviously not to the point where the underneath defender can get it, but not an easy throw by any stretch.
DC 0 for on their last 4 tries on third down. This is 3rd and 7 from the 41. Snap chest tied to Ta'amu. Pressure is on. Throws deep left side. It's incomplete. Double coverage on Rowland. Well done by the Panthers out there. DJ Miller and Akeem Dent. 4th and 7, and DC sends Paxton Brooks back out there, the 6'5" punter out of Tennessee.
You know, so many good things to say about this Michigan team today. Something going mostly under the radar. DJ Miller again. He's got a PBU. He's been playing lockdown coverage all day. I can't remember a time there's been a pass completed on him.
Snap off the 41 is low to Brooks. His punt spins down. Well struck punt down inside the 15-yard line. Xavier Malone on a dead sprint out past the 20-yard line. Big collision at the 23. He got smoked by Shane Simon. And with 10:09 on the fourth quarter clock, Panthers get it back leading 30-14. Here at Ford Field over the league's best DC defenders and a 4-1 record. Panthers looking to put the finishing touches on this one from the Motor City when we come back on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. 10:09 fourth quarter. Michigan 30, DC 14. League's best record at 4-1 is in town. And the Panthers have them on the ropes. And they also have the football back. After Paxton Brooks' 48-yard punt, a short return by Xavier Malone. Get to see more of Bryce Perkins. Why not? 10 of 15, 157 through the air with a score. And on the ground, 8 carries for 55 yards. He's in the shotgun with the bullet in the pistol, Nate McCrary. First down and 10 from the 23-yard line. 5-man front for DC, snap to Perkins, give up the middle to McCrary. Fights for 3 yards, second down and 7 coming up. One defender slow off the turf.
As much of Nate McCrary as maybe we expected heading into this one. Obviously, Toa demanding the lion's share of efforts in that backfield, but just the 6th carry for Nate today.
The defender being tended to is Grand Valley State's own Dennis Johnson. So will they take a look at him and get him off the field? A quick 30-second break here on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. Dennis Johnson off the field without much help. 30-14 Panthers. 9:45 fourth quarter. A slow and steady huddle for Michigan as they break it and come to the line on second down and 7 from their own 26-yard line. Perkins scans the DC defense. 5 defenders in that front. Perk leans in. Low snap gives to McCrary. Hit in the backfield and taken down right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe lost half a yard. Anthony Hines III, the leading tackler on this team, made the stop. Now 3rd and 8 for Michigan.
Loss of one of the play.
Michigan, you know, especially into the emergence of the fourth quarter here, going ultra conservative, it would seem, on the offense, which you understand it from a game planning perspective. You're working to kill off the game, but man, I just want to see more of that Perkins magic.
It's been explosive here today. 3rd and 8 from the 25-yard line. Perkins in the gun. McCrary sidecar right. Tight end motions left to right, Gunnar Oaks. Snap chest high to Perkins, in trouble. Floats it out right. Caught McCrary. Got a race towards the first down. He picks it up at about the 33-yard line. Had to fight for it. The officials do come in and mark first down Michigan.
Panthers on the prowl. First down.
Much more clock.
Especially with a 16-point gap needing, you know, 2 separate 2-point conversions, or depending on how you like the odds there, maybe 1 3-point, 1 point, but we'll see, you know, when we even get there. Michigan's still moving forward on offense.
And that was McCrary saying, me against you. Anthony Hines and McCrary down to 10. Snap. Perkins gives McCrary up the middle. Not much room again.
McCrary up the middle.
Tackle made by Roberson.
Roberson and Scott on the stop.
They'll give them 1 second down and 9 for Michigan.
2nd and 9.
Now, when you think about it, there's about 20 seconds on the play clock here, an additional 30 for each of the 2 remaining snaps on this drive, barring any first downs. And we're going to be approaching, you know, the 5-minute mark. Really just eating up this fourth quarter.
They're really chomping at it right now, aren't they? Down to 7:25. Fourth quarter, Panthers by 16. Perkins empty backfield. Snap to Bryce. Design quarterback run right side. Makes a man miss. 45-yard line. Perkins 50. Spins out of another. Down to the DC 45-yard line, and he settles there. Bryce Perkins has really excelled in the run game in the second half here today. Finally brought down by Brian Abraham.
He didn't just make a man miss in the open field. He sent him next door. He sent him down the road to Comerica untouched in the open field. Just filthy stuff from number 3.
Certainly making his statement known for a potential MVP campaign, isn't he?
Dare I say he may be the front runner after a game like this.
First down off the 45. Snap. Perkins back and looking, no pressure. Now he throws it downfield. That is brought in, fumbled eventually by Cole Hicatini, but he picked up a first down. The ball squirted out at the 27-yard line. Brought down by Joseph. And the ball was jarred free as he hit the ground. Panthers pick up another first down to the DC 27.
And it just feels like everything having to do with number 3 today is working out. Again, rolling out, buying time, finding Hicatini on a scramble drill.
You know, it might not look the simplest at times, but he really slows the game down. First and 10, DC 27-yard line. Snap to Perkins, gives the towel, bouncing it out left. Far sideline 20, 15, cuts it back inside 10. Still fighting down to the 5-yard line. Toa, have yourself a game. They give him the 6, and the Panthers continue to slug the defenders' defense on the ground.
And really just salting this game away through the same stuff. You dance with the one you came with, and it's been a heavy dose of Toa, a heavy dose of Bryce Perkins. And Michigan really looking to salt this one away with just over 5 left.
Panthers now well over 200 yards on the ground this afternoon against one of the league's best defenses in the DC defenders. Snap to Perkins on first and goal from the 6, gives the Tawa, and he fell down at the 5-yard line. Play was not whistled dead. Defenders rushing this one back the other way. It's Roberson with no one close. It's a clear runway for Roberson. Flag comes out 50-yard line. What do we have?
Well, the flag's a great acting job. I think it's Cole Hicatini selling a block in the back to save the touchdown.
Penalty marker on the field.
What in the world just happened here?
The ruling him not touched when he went down?
He was touched.
That's a touch.
He's
right
touching
there.
the 5-yard line.
After the review, the runner was down by contact at the 5-yard line.
Exhale for a moment.
I want to highlight the sell job from Cole Hicatini on that block in the back. I mean, he was grazed at the 50-yard line. Took a dive and saved what would have been that phantom touchdown had Toa not been touched, of course.
Got a little Jalen Brunson in him.
Something like that. And as critical as I have been about the officiating crew,
Block in the back, but it's a dead ball at this point.
you'd like to see a play like that let run.
Down to 4:45, fourth quarter. Panthers by 16, 30-14. Nate McCrary back in the ballgame as the running back. Second and goal off the 5. Snap to Perkins. He'll keep it. He'll throw towards the end zone. Brought in by Malik Turner. It was batted at the line of scrimmage and brought in like a rebound by Malik. He spun and scored. Touchdown, Michigan. 36-14 at 4:29. And the good keeps getting better for Bryce Perkins and the Panthers.
It's just one of those days. When things are going well, they're going great for Bryce Perkins. Pulls, tipped at the line, was typically a dangerous pass. Malik Turner squares his hips, comes back to the football. Great effort from 17. Flips his hips back and walks that thing into the end zone.
We have had some of the more creative scores that we've seen in our tenure in the UFL here today. Simply incredible. Panthers to go for 2. Up 36-14. Perk in the shotgun. Got McCrary off to his right. Snap to Perkins. Give left side. McCrary still bouncing off defenders. Oh my goodness. He's got Vaseline on him. He's in for 2 to make it 38-14.
The contact balance, the leg drive. Nate McCrary showing that, hey, I'm worth every one of the 9 carries you're giving me. And you love to see 2 great running backs just competing, heading in the same direction.
Sends us to a break here at Ford Field at 4:29 fourth quarter. Good times to be had here in the Motor City. 38-14 Michigan. The finishing touches on the backside of this timeout on the Michigan Panthers Audio Network. 38-14, Panthers, 4:29, fourth quarter. Scoring drive goes 9 plays, 77 yards. 5 minutes, 40 seconds off the clock. Bryce Perkins connects with Malik Turner from 5 yards out. 2-point rush by Nate McCrary. Having a good time here in the Motor City.
Yeah, and you can see it reflected in this crowd. They've been waiting for something like this. They've had moments, but just a full, complete game to celebrate the sport of football in Detroit, Michigan. A lot of smiles, a lot of noise. Great environment here today.
There's the kick from B.T. Potter. Again, it bounces inside the 20-yard line, brought in by Deion Jackson. Shifty move off to the left across the 30-yard line and is spun down at the 33. Akeem Dent brought him down. Devin Ross in there as well.
Noah Dawkins, Xavier Malone on the stop.
You and I discussed in the break. Brandon Jordan Ta'amu's 16 of 28 stat line for 233, 2 scores, and a QB rating of 150.6, and yet being outplayed and down 38-14.
Yeah, it's not bad football at all from the signal caller for DC.
Chris Rowland, by the way, 136 yards through the air. First down snap to Ta'amu from the 33-yard line. His screen pass is airmailed. Threw it in the direction of Abram Smith. Incomplete, second down and 10.
Well, it wasn't far off by any stretch of the imagination. And there was a workforce in front of Abram on that one. I'm thinking the full clean half of the offensive line was out there ready to lead him to wherever they were headed.
Convoy. 4:05 fourth quarter, second down and 10 from the 33-yard line. Snap to Amu, fakes to give Smith. Rainbows a pass, deep left side, it is incomplete. Antonio intended target. That opportunity taken away by Lovely.
Michigan's corner is doing a good job today deep down the field. A couple times now it's been deep, lofted one-on-one style balls, and they've played good defense, if not for a lack of turnovers, which is hardly a critique when you're breaking up the pass to begin with, but good play on the perimeter. Man specifically.
Up 24 with 3:35 in the fourth quarter. Play clock down to 5 for Ta'amu. In the shotgun, he's got it, he's back, looks, surveys. Now rolls out right, he will tuck and run. Ta'amu, oh, big clean hit up top. And the Panthers and defenders come together, and this could get ugly. Penalty flags fly, two teams converge. Ta'amu slid, and TJ Carter was in decapitation mode.
I don't know if he slid. We'll get another look at it for sure, but he was it looked like he was making a cut back upfield, and then it was just a defensive lineman pursuing the play, Kenneth Grant style. You remember the one versus Penn State?
The results of the play is a first down. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 75, 15-yard penalty. Again, still a first down.
So Mason Brooks comes off the field. He is the guilty party, 25-year-old out of Ole Miss. Still a first down for Jordan Ta'amu and the defenders.
Yeah, and you can hardly blame him. I mean, it wasn't an objectively dirty hit, but it was a hard hit.
He flew in there for sure.
You know, the intent that it could have been, reckless or helmet to helmet was certainly there. And he's standing up for his quarterback, especially in a game where you're down 24 late like this. You can hardly critique him.
So although Ta'amu rushed for a first down, it is first down and 10 from the 29-yard line. Shotgun snap to Ta'amu. He grabbed it with his right hand. He's back, he looks, flag flies, throws near sideline. That is caught, that is Antonio down the near sideline, 45-yard line of Michigan, but we'll check the penalty flag.
It's going to be a hold somewhere, I think the left guard of DC.
Holding, offense, number 79, 10-yard penalty.
Right on the head. There hugs Tykeem Doss.
Just got beat inside, grabbed a handful of jersey. You do what you can to prevent your quarterback taking a hit. Unfortunate there, especially with what resulted afterwards, but back-to-back penalties turned good field position into you know, whatever the opposite of the red zone is, they're inside the other 20.
The minus 19. There you go.
I'll take it.
2:25 fourth quarter, 38-14 Michigan. 1st and 20 for the defenders. Ta'amu shotgun snap. He's back. He'll spin it left. It is batted up and incomplete over the head of Adonis Alexander.
Ta'amu's pass intended for Antonio, incomplete.
Former Buffalo out of Colorado, Javon Antonio, the intended target.
Whitehead Jr. in coverage.
And it was Whitehead Jr. sitting on that perfectly in zone coverage.
He's had a darn good game today, hasn't he?
You can take your pick on the Michigan roster. You know, you'd be hard pressed to find someone who hasn't. Just a great 4-quarter performance out of these guys.
This is the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning here from Ford Field in downtown Detroit. A 2nd down and 20 coming up for the defenders as the Panthers lead it 38-14 on the Michigan Panthers. Just 2 minutes remaining from Ford Field in downtown Detroit, 38-14 Panthers. And a 2nd down and 20 for the defenders from their own 19-yard line. Ta'amu in the shotgun, Jackson off to his left, high snap, he's back, throws it right, caught by Rowland. Another catch for Chris Rowland to the 27-yard line, pushed out of bounds by Adonis Alexander, bringing up a 3rd down.
You know, contingent, of course, on his health and his ability to continue producing. Chris Rowland has the build and the skill set to be an elite slot receiver at any level, and that is referring to what you think I am.
He's got great hands. He's very shifty in the open field, and you're right, he's dressed just like Amon-Ra St. Brown today. 3rd down and 12 from the 27-yard line. DC is 6 of 12 on such downs. Snap to Amu, straight drop. He's back. Pressure's on. A catapulting effort by Willikis is missed. Ta'amu throws. First down yardage brought in by Antonio at the 45-yard line. First down, DC. Pickup of 17 yards and a first down.
Ta'amu doing his best Bryce Perkins impression today, escaping the pressure, getting out to the open field and finding someone downfield, keeping this drive alive.
Now 18 of 23, or 18 of 33, pardon, today. Belt high snap to Amu, guns it right and complete for Antonio. Lovely in coverage.
Well, it's a good thing it gunned it. That thing was in the air for a second longer than it needed to be. We might be running back the other way.
Just a fireball off the hand of Jordan Ta'amu. Second down and 10 from the 45-yard line. Ta'amu leans in, he's got the snap, he's back. Looks, pressures on, Tafua misses him. Still rolling out to the left, fading is Ta'amu on a dead sprint, reaches out 46-yard line. After all that, just picked up 1 yard, bringing up a 3rd and 9.
Ta'amu really just kind of running for his life back there at this point. Not necessarily hung out to dry by his offensive line, but the pressure's getting through, and there's, outside of Chris Rowland's, a lack there of availability downfield is what we'll call it.
1:25 left in the fourth quarter. Panthers have this one sealed up. 38-14. Snap to Amu. He's back. Dumps it off right for Jackson. At the 45-yard line, is twirled down there at the line of scrimmage, keeping the clock running and bringing up a 4th down and 9. Might as well go for it here for DC.
Yeah, may as well throw those dice at the wall. You imagine if they turn it over on downs, Michigan will just take the knee here.
DC was turned away on 4th down on the opening drive of the game from the Panther 5-yard line, so they're now 1 of 4 on 4th down this year. Down to 50 seconds to play, 4th quarter. Panthers and defenders. Panthers will go to 4-2. Defenders will fall to 4-2. 4th down and 9. Snap to Amu. Arches it deep down the right sideline. Incomplete for Sanders. And that is going to do it. Coverage from Kenai Lovely with 37 seconds left here in the 4th quarter. And again, deep coverage by Panthers defensive backs right there in phase.
Man-to-man coverage down the field has been a strong point all season, really. Some issues with zone, on that beautiful ball from Ta'amu in the first half to find it in the corner of the end zone down to our right. But man-to-man coverage has been a strength, in particular this game, but really over the course of the whole season, led by, DJ Miller, of course.
Danny Etling in at quarterback for the Panthers. He is in the take.
Danny Etling takes a knee.
Just 2 knees. Still 1 more to come for Danny Etling and the Panthers on offense, as we put a bow on this one from Ford Field in Detroit. And they're not even going to. So, 2 teams will meet at the middle of the field to say job well done. Job better done on this day by the Michigan Panthers by a final score of 38-14. A truly dominating effort by Michigan today. They're up to 4-2. DC down to 4-2. Just what the doctor ordered was a win against the UFL's best.
Yeah, and it was a real get-right game for the Panthers. We said it a number of times. This team just looked different. Things were working out. Bryce Perkins had this offense humming. They were getting the bounces, the things that this team had just been missing. And you wonder how much of that accrues really to just momentum and positive vibes throughout the course of a locker room. I'm an analytics guy, but in the same hand, I'm a firm believer of thoughts becoming actions. And when you feel good, you play good. So good to see this.
Bryce Perkins finishes 13 of 18 through the air. You would not think he only had 13 completions. 188 yards, 2 scores. And on the ground, Perkins, 10 attempts for 75. In a Panthers effort where they earn over 400 yards, 213 of which being on the ground in what was the best effort of the season so far for Michigan, and by far their most points scored. The previous was 27 points. Final thoughts?
Just a great day to be out here. You know, the crowd was into it. This town loves football, and they finally got the product that they're used to seeing. You know, sitting at 4-2, I think this team has weathered the storm. Now showing the joint best record in the UFL. I'm excited to see what the back half of the season holds for the Panthers.
Still up in the air whether or not Birmingham will win and tie the Panthers at the top of the USFL division. Final score here today from Ford Field in downtown Detroit, the Panthers 38 and the Defenders 14. From Zach Linfield, myself here, Brandon Huggard over to my right, we say good night and talk to you next time.